Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John Campbell. Can I just say, and I'm going to go ahead and, is it okay if I just sing your name every time now?
Yeah, I think that's happened without the permission, so yeah, let's go for
it. Can I tell you about something very exciting that happened in July of 1973?
Sure, yeah.
Somebody whose name is Wolfman.
Yeah.
He
Marv
created
Wolfman.
Wolfman. He created a character in an already successful comic adaptation of Dracula called Tomb of Dracula. And as a 4-year-old in 1973, I was aware of it. And continued to read it all the way through my childhood until it was canceled. But he created a character, just a side character. He was already using the Van Helsing name from the novel Dracula, so he created characters there. But he came up with this cool idea because it was 1973. Blaxploitation was a big thing in the cinemas. Mr. John Shaft and all kinds of other great characters. And so he came up with an idea of what if, which is very Marvel to say, what if there was a very cool urban street fighting vampire hunter?
Yeah.
And his name was Blade.
I mean, come on, man. It doesn't get much. Everything about that idea is cool.
And then as you find more out about that character, he himself is a partial vampire. He's a Dhampir, half human, half vampire. He is the Daywalker thing.
The Daywalker.
Yeah, Daywalker. But, and I always pitch for this. His original look, he's got these goggles.
You are always pitching for this fucking costume.
Well, because for its day, I would do it as a period piece, but for its day, he's wearing the long leather coat.
Yeah.
He's got these ski goggles that protect his eyes during the day because he can walk around in day, but just like in the movies, he's wearing the shades. It hurts his eyes.
Yeah, they're still doing that. I mean,
and
they're
Blade
cool ass shades.
Has bandoliers under that leather coat, bandoliers full of wooden daggers.
Yeah,
because he's going to use them as throwing knives and just stabby stabs.
They do
and that's how he takes out the blood suckers. He takes out the blood suckers.
Or suckheads, as he likes to say.
Or suckheads.
I love it. Yeah. Tell Frost it's open season on all suckheads. All right.
So I love this character.
I as well. I have Blade action figures over on the shelf. And
then we got two really excellent movies that sort of updated that character.
Movies. Absolutely great comic book horror films. Oh.
All right, old men, sit down, because we got to listen to some Crystal Method, and Dracula's name is Drake now, and they've got a vampire Pomeranian. This is the new Dracula for the new millennium.
Yeah, well, that's 100%. That screaming voice of youth that just came in here is exactly what is up with this week's movie, Blade Trinity, and Mike Gorgone is with us. We should say, by the way, if there's any indication of this franchise trajectory, we had Ibrahim Mustafa on for Blade 1 and 2, and then he said, you're on your own for Blade Trinity. And I said, don't worry, someone else has claimed it, and there was no pushback on that. No one was fighting you for this, Gorgone.
Man.
You're just bobbing on a fine sea of Blade films and clinging under the boat like a barnacle was me going, Blade Trinity, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Blade Trinity, a.k.a. the Night Stalker's backdoor pilot movie.
Instead of a barnacle, I'd say you're more like a lamprey or one of those parasitical fish. Because, there's no defending this. And I'm sure that you enjoyed it in the theater, but I do look forward to your thoughts. Because this movie, widely considered by everyone, including the people who made it and are in it, to be a failure.
I mean, watching this again last night, I find this film is abysmal. Like, this is when people talk about the worst comic book movies, this has got to be in the discussion, right? It's a horrible
It is in the
movie.
discussion.
It's not,
I think Wikipedia said
it's not as immediately embarrassing as something like Steel, but it is shockingly bad.
There was, I think in the Wikipedia they talk about somebody like Wizard or something, or back in the day they did a list of like the top 100 comic movies, and Blade Trinity is at like 74.
Ooh, way too high.
Now, yeah. Well, I mean, you did just mention Steel, and
Batman.
You've got to talk about
there's,
Captain America.
There are more inherently, like, once again, just you take one even look at them and they're embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean that includes all the 70s live action stuff too.
Yeah, John, you and I made an entire show about tracking the history of the Incredible Hulk TV show. So don't get me started on bad comic book adaptations.
I'll take any episode of that show over this. This is horrible.
Any episode, John?
Well,
any episode?
All right, I'll couch it in most episodes. But I'll just say some of this is it's kind of what we were talking about with this being the first two movies are so good. There is a bigger blow that this is because it's coming off of something so good. I feel like it's a similar feeling I have about something like X-Men: The Last Stand as well, right? We're going like, oh, but the first two movies are so good, and then when that third one drops, it's really tragic to see because you know that you've already seen what the quality can be, and you know they're not living up to it.
And I'll give this some very slight, because I'm not going to just blanketly go, shit, moving on.
No, there's some
that would be a short podcast.
There's some good ideas in here.
Goyer has, in this script and in the story, he has dropped in some interesting ideas.
Yeah. I think about
pretty cool concepts.
About the first half hour of the movie is kind of interesting. I was
going to give you the first 15 minutes. Yeah. Like, the opening stuff is all pretty good.
I love the setup with the FBI and all that stuff. That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, but it is a pretty steady drop right after that. But the thing is that it's for every good thing it does about 15 to 20 terrible things.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there going, "Oh, Dave. Oh, Dave."
Well, because this,
you had a thing here that's pretty good.
The big thing that's different here, and I think the parasitic life form is very apt, Brendan, because the monster rearing its ugly head in this movie has been in the house the whole time, right?
Oh my God.
David S. Goyer is a credited screenwriter on the first two movies, and then this one is like, finally, he gets the helm, man.
Well, because Goyer fits into that camp, and part of the reason I wanted to be on for this film in particular, because much like the last movie featuring Dracula I was on this podcast for, Dracula 2000, the reason I am interested in movies like this, and especially a movie like Blade Trinity, is because it is this strange estuary where, like, the past and the future are sort of commingling, and it's always going to make like garbage. Like, it's not water you want to taste, but it is an interesting environment that can only exist in amongst itself. So Goyer is one of those guys like Zach Penn and a lot of these early guys, writers in Hollywood who were like, we know comic book stuff, and we're kind of ahead of the game, honestly, in knowing that was the future of like serialized storytelling was how it was going to grip things. Obviously we have like the early X-Men and Spider-Man movies, but they didn't quite grasp that was going to be developing into the monoculture.
Well, what you had when you talk about guys like Goyer and Zach Penn were like guys who were already in the studio system, and then were also like, and I like comic books. So it's like, we already know that guy, and he likes comic
that
books.
Is almost what Kevin Smith became.
Yeah.
Because there was a thing where they had already done established work, like you said, but they were known also for being comic nerds.
Right.
And so therefore, whether or not they really had a grasp on particular characters.
Have you heard Kevin Smith talk about they offered him DC in its entirety? When he was working on Superman,
like, no.
Lorenzo de Bonaventura was like, do you want to run the whole universe?
Yeah.
And he just kept going. He even said that. He talks about that when he came in for his Superman script. It's literally because there were Superman jokes in Mallrats, and he's just going, why don't you hire Mike Carlin? He writes the Superman comic. And they're like, that's a comic book guy, Kevin.
Yeah.
The difference is Kevin Smith is a better writer than Zach Penn or David Goyer. just in terms of like pen to paper, like practical writing. I think.
Yes, but when you read his Superman script, and there are moments that are really great, but you do get the thing of it's more than someone who loves comics and knows those characters. They also have to have a feel for that kind of storytelling. And you can read comics your entire life and still not be the perfect guy to adapt comics. It's a whole thing. When you read it, you're like, he is trying really hard. He's very earnestly trying.
Yeah.
But it still comes off like a Kevin Smith script. So you're like,
sure.
Yeah. And he himself, I mean, that's the whole thing is he talks about it. Literally, he's looking Peter. Why am I blanking?
Oh, no, it's
No. Yes.
No.
Who is it?
John Peters.
John Peters. Thank you.
Yeah.
John Peters. Looking him in the face going, why me?
Yeah.
It's like, because you get it. He's like,
it sounded like every story he tells about that was him going to a meeting going, why'd you hire that guy or this guy? Or they know it.
Yeah.
Because he'll also tell you while he's a comic book guy, he's not necessarily like a Superman guy either.
That's the thing is that even when he started writing comics, and they let him pick like Daredevil and that kind of thing, and he does some Batman and Green Arrow and stuff.
Yeah, and all that stuff is I love his Daredevil.
It is, but his first goes, which is Daredevil, you still see similar to writers from outside the realm and then coming into comics, you can see how it's not quite working. Then he figures it out.
Yeah.
It starts clumsy. So it's fine. It ends up being something he became very good at, but it is not a thing where, like even me, if they said write Superman, I would be like, I'm going to give it my shot. And I write screenplays, but you've got to find the right people. And Goyer's not.
Well, but the thing that's interesting about Goyer obviously is, as we were talking about, is like he is at least on some level wrote some drafts enough to get credit on the first two movies. So in a lot of ways, it makes sense to go like, well, this guy's been here the whole time. Nobody's going to do this better than him. He's going to know it. The only interesting thing I do find is this was nobody's first choice, because if you look through the trivia like I was doing last night,
no, it wasn't.
They offered
going
this
to be him at all.
They offered this to several other people who all said no based on this script is bad.
Yep,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro took off to go do Hellboy, which was really always his passion anyway.
Sure. It's interesting because the idea that a filmmaker could look at the script and say, this is so bad, I don't even want to get involved in rewriting it or adapting it to my own sensibilities, I think speaks to the disjointed nature that is like, the foundation of this film starts rocky. And we'll get into some of the behind the scenes stuff, I'm sure, because this movie has a troubled production history, to say the least.
I'm waiting for the book about the making of this movie, because just Patton Oswalt's stand-up
I
bit
was
about
thinking the same thing. I would love an oral history of
this
the making
100%,
of Blade Trinity.
Because, I mean, once again, just the anecdotes Patton Oswalt has shared, and you keep in mind, what he worked, like, maybe a week at most on this thing. He's barely in it. So, but just in that time, the stories he has are insane. So I'm sure that it's 10 times crazier than that.
Yep.
Well, we have this foundation, like I said, of writing that starts like bad. You have this contentious relationship between Goyer and the lead actor of the film, Wesley Snipes. And Wesley Snipes has his own personal issues that he's working through at this time period as well.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I mean, what are you talking about? His tax stuff? I mean, that's not.
I'm talking about like alleged. Let's see. He was arrested for weapons charges a little bit before this. There were some drug allegations going on. I mean, Patton Oswalt says that he just spent the whole time while he was on set in his trailer smoking the whole time.
But that was already in mid-production. What I'm saying is it's interesting that I don't know where Wesley trouble begins caused by the movie versus he came in already troubled, because it seems like he was infinitely more engaged on the other two movies, and then here definitely descended into and kind of looking at the stuff, I almost can't blame him too much, because it did seem like they were doing everything to take this franchise away from him.
Sure, and there's like clear indication of studio meddling all over this film.
Holy God! I mean,
this is a very compromised movie.
It's one of those movies where you don't even have to know that. just watching it, you can feel
Yeah,
studio meddling.
you can feel it totally.
like that happens. We all did our when it was out a couple years ago, the three of us did a review of the Morbius movie, and that was a similar thing where I can actually track watching the movie. That was a studio note. They probably wanted more of that. This feels compromised. That was reshot. Like you get this feeling of that. Spider-Man 3 is another great example of that, where you can just tell you're like, Raimi's heart was in this, but not that. That was obviously an original script. This is a late addition.
I did the whole thing with this one where, speaking of the Wikipedia again, this movie I saw in the theater, and that's the last time. And then I saw it last night, and I had no idea until I read the Wikipedia that there were alternate endings. And I was reading that going like, okay, that's interesting.
Which really screams of like up to finishing the movie. They weren't fully locked in on what this thing is. And the movie feels like that. It does feel it not just that it feels like it's meddled with, but it feels disjointed, right? Like you're watching it going like scenes going from like following it as a storyline. It's kind of all over the place. It has a basic through line, but you're kind of going like, number one, I don't know who the protagonist of this movie is.
Right. And I don't know what the goal really.
On paper, I think Abigail Whistler is supposed to be the protagonist of this movie.
But I think
because she has basically the most screen time, but we don't get any emotional interiority on her until the very end, and that's sort of compounded by Jessica Biel's performance in this film.
She is given, well, come on, there's that. She looks amazing though. She got in crazy shape to be a superheroine.
So did Reynolds, right? That was like so much of the press was about, look at how fucking hot these two are, man.
But the thing is with her, she's also saddled with literally a line of dialogue where she goes,
some of the worst.
Where she goes, "Oh yeah, well I was his third daughter born out of wedlock."
That I openly
and it's just
laughed.
sort of like, there's my origin.
Like I said, on paper, I think Abigail Whistler is supposed to be the protagonist of this film, but it is compromised by like, okay, we're also making Ryan Reynolds basically the comedic lead of the movie,
I was
and
gonna say,
also
like, at a certain point, Hannibal King becomes the hero of the movie.
Do you guys think that Wesley Snipes checked out because it was clearly meant to be a spin-off, a thing where they're launching Night Stalkers, or
he said as much?
Or did they put the weight on the Night Stalkers because they realized their lead was not going to really show up for this movie, and they're like, come on, restructure the script so there's more. I think it's Hannibal King.
I think it's more the first one, simply because this was such a passion project for him. We know that, like, his producing. We've talked about the amount of work he did on the scripts, on the fight choreography in the other movies. So, I mean, from anything I've seen, it seemed like he really wanted to make a third. Well, he and Goyer had a big pitch for what was supposed to be the third movie, which was supposed to be a post-apocalyptic world where the vampires were the dominant species, and Blade was leading a resistance against them. And the studio said, that's too dark, it's going to be so expensive, don't do that. So I think that probably contributed to some of his checking out.
That's where his enthusiasm died.
It's like, well, that's the story I really wanted to tell. And I don't blame him, because then what ends up happening is Blade Trinity, not only is it this backdoor pilot for the Night Stalkers movie, it is also just retreading a lot of the shit that's in the first two movies. So the character of Blade is just
also cinema's perhaps worst representation of Dracula.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I would have agreed with you before we did this podcast, but now we've seen so many bad Draculas. Man, it's a race to the bottom for a few of these. But it's a pretty bad Dracula. It's a shockingly bad
And I like
Dracula.
Dominic Purcell. I want to make that clear. I've liked him in so many things.
I think given better material, could have at least been a good Dracula. If not, I mean, he's not like perfect for the part, but he's a good enough actor. He could have portrayed a better Dracula.
It's interesting. I like the ideas behind this Dracula more than I like the execution, because we've dealt with other Draculas that are like far older than the Vlad the Impaler like historical figure.
That is Dracula 2000. He was Judas Iscariot.
I mean, actually,
this particular Dracula goes back even farther to being the ancient Sumerian god Dagon.
And that's I mean, that we've seen that time and time again. The trying to place Dracula in history or mythology or certainly this idea of he is the first, he is the all things stem from him. The problem is, once again, Dracula as well, aside from whatever the presentation of him in this, also is kind of just like at the fringes of this movie. This movie doesn't care about a single character. Like, every single character is horribly underdeveloped. Like,
That's
really,
absolutely correct.
There's too many characters.
As fun as Parker Posey could have been as like a campy socialite vampire, she is totally wasted in this film.
She's totally wasted, but she's still the best thing in this movie because at least she is attempting to have fun.
I like a lot of this cast. This is one of those things where you go,
what the fuck is John Michael Higgins doing in this? What a total waste.
What is
he owed somebody a favor?
What is Eric Bogosian doing in this movie?
They talk about owing someone a favor. Eric Bogosian popping in for one scene really is like...
as his character from talk radio, basically.
Yeah,
I gotta say, that scene is almost like a needle scratch. That is almost to where the movie goes, sorry guys, this is where we're going.
Yeah, that's probably about the breaking point for me in the movie. Yeah,
the whole thing about Blade being set up and humans, him taking down humans, which makes it look like he's a serial killer or whatever.
Cool idea. That's a cool
idea-ish. But also, we're asked to, in this movie, after the first two, which are stylish about an underworld. Hey, there's a nice title for a movie. An underworld of vampires and conspiracy and kind of thing, where it's moody, but it is his own world that's underneath the world we know.
Right.
Suddenly in this movie, literally people are saying vampires without going, that's crazy. They're not even winking. I mean, they say the guy's got to be crazy. He believes in them.
Yeah.
But this is subject for literally the news, and Blade is somehow on the FBI's radar and known to people. Like, oh, it's Blade. And you're like, stop, man. Just stop. Well, even in the MCU, not the MCU, even in the Marvel Universe, Blade walks in that most people walk around New York. They may have heard of Morbius because he's a living vampire.
Well, that's always the separation there, right? It's like he's just a guy with vampire powers, basically.
But yeah, like the Night Stalkers and all that. No, people would not know that Dracula was among us until later days when he tried to have a war against the world.
Well, now
I was going to say, depends who you ask. Like, Storm has had interpersonal relationships with Dracula.
Oh, yeah, but she's not a civilian. She's a superheroine. I'm talking about the world.
This is true. This is true.
Although, she nearly became his bride. I loved that stuff in the 80s. The X-Men and Dracula run.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all. I mean, that's the thing. That's another disappointment of this movie, though, right? Is you get like, oh, of course, the third movie in the trilogy is Blade versus Dracula, the ultimate vampire hunter versus the hell. I remember when they were just promoting this movie. I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for, man. It's the Daywalker versus the King of the Undead. This is gonna fucking rule, man.
No, instead they shat on this.
It's
awesome
pretty lame,
concept.
and it's an awesome concept. And just like watching the couple scenes where they do square off, I'm like, it's so boring. One of them is a super bland foot chase. The other one is like a meh sword fight. And then
don't you love it when Dracula grabs a baby and dangles it off a roof?
Actually, I mean, once again, in concept, yeah, but not in execution.
It does lead to the greatest 2 seconds in cinema history, but other than that,
where Wesley Snipes looks at a fake baby and goes "coochie coo."
Yes.
Well, that's actually, I, you know what? I do like that because it's one of the only moments when he has some of the humor he has in the other movies.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I did enjoy those 2 seconds.
You can feel Wesley Snipes just being like, "Do you need me to add anything to this scene? Should I even?" I'm just going to stand here. Like, I don't know, man. Blade is such a prop in this movie. He's just around at, like, the edge of the film going, like, I don't know. Let me know when I have to act, I guess.
Let me know when I have to stare down Ryan Reynolds, who...
there's a reason for that, and I'd like to dig into it a little bit.
Okay.
Like the production issues that plagued this film.
Let's
a lot of it stemming from the contempt that Wesley Snipes had for David Goyer.
Yeah, and I just want to add, as a Wesley Snipes fan, too, somewhat earned. I think it's not misplaced.
No,
let's talk about this.
Look, I'm not trying to assign blame on why this movie is bad.
No.
I'm just trying to lay down a little bit of context because I think there are some hyperbolic things that Wesley Snipes has claimed about the production of this film, and there are some hyperbolic things that David Goyer has claimed about the production of this film. I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle.
As always, right? Like, that's the thing. That's why we want that oral history, so we can hear every perspective on this thing.
Yes.
But anyway, let's, as always, talk about the poster here, which is, I mean, of course, the poster automatically tells you what's up. It's like, Blade's looking away from the camera like, am I even in this movie?
Yeah, he's doing a profile shot. I memean, he is the center figure. He's holding the
its name above title, Wesley Snipes. He's got his cool curved bladerangs.
Bladerangs. Yeah. And then basically a couple of model shots of Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds looking over his shoulders going, hi,
we're going to take over the franchise. You want to see a movie about us?
Yeah.
No,
hi, we're really in it.
Don't. There's whether you like Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds is neither here nor there as actors, because there's nothing about these characters that I would ever want to see going forward. That's, I think, one of the biggest things.
In concept, I like both, but they're not developed. Every time this movie has an opportunity to develop a character or a backstory, we get just what you were talking about, John. Another action sequence, which may or may not do anything. And very often you sit there going like, well, again, you ticked a box.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, this is also, watching this is very strange in the Ryan Reynolds career, because this is his first attempt at doing really anything in the action genre, which we so closely associate him with now. But it is sort of like, can I bring my comedy persona into an action film? And the answer is yes, but not this movie.
Right. And there's the whole, legendary story about somebody handing him a Deadpool comic on the set of this film and being like, dude, you're just being Deadpool right now. And then the stars opening up above him and Kevin Feige from on high reaching down going, one day, my son.
He is he is just being Deadpool in this movie. We just didn't have the content, but it is like, oh yeah, 100%.
Here's the thing. This may Hannibal King in the comics, I think this was good casting, because Hannibal King in the comics, he's not this flip. But if you're going to hand it off to someone who has comedy chops, this isn't sacrilegious, because Hannibal King in the comics is a private investigator who is also a vampire, but he is a good guy vampire, and he's not flip, but he's cynical.
Yeah.
So he does get in a lot of quips. He's a quipster guy.
There's nothing wrong with the take, but you were watching Ryan Reynolds try to single-handedly save scenes. You can really feel him improvising, and he's an amazing improviser, but it is just like, I'm going to give you 8 jokes. Use one, David. I don't know. This scene doesn't make sense.
Well, and there's reporting from Reynolds himself, as well as some of the interviews that
we're
Oswald
just receiving. Yes, no, I'm just getting a message now from Ryan Reynolds on set.
Guys, Ryan Reynolds is on the line. He's live via satellite.
But he has said that a lot of the scenes he was in, he was encouraged to improvise and deviate from whatever script they had.
Right.
And so that leads to another just level of disjointedness in this film.
He's not. Because improv is this is the thing about improv, and we've seen this in a lot of sort of the rise of heavily improvised comedies, right? It can't be in place of a script. You really need a solid foundation, like the Judd Apatow movies or something like that, or even more, 2 people in this movie from the Christopher Guest movies. There is a very intensely structurally built story, and then the dialogue is improvised. But the detail and the outlines of the Christopher Guest, Eugene Levy scripts, which don't have dialogue, but are extremely clear about where the emotional state of characters are, where the story is headed, and then you can improvise on top of that. This is a movie where I feel like he was encouraged to improvise because they're like, maybe that'll give us a scene.
Yeah.
Right.
And Night Stalkers, that sounds like some sort of Saturday morning cartoon. And then Ryan Reynolds going,
Care Bears
we thought about Care Bears, but it turns out those was taken. And that was a genuine laugh for me. Well, I genuinely laughed.
Because he's funny. He's funny in isolation of the movie.
Yes.
The man
is and I think
funny.
Isolation is the key here, because another thing we've learned from interviews and whatnot is that a lot of the time, all of these actors are not actually in the same room as each other. Specifically Wesley Snipes.
If it's not a close-up of him, it is his stand-in. Yeah, that was made expressly clear.
So like Ryan Reynolds and all of these other actors are not acting in the scene with with Wesley Snipes.
That is no way to make a movie.
No. And yeah, we'll talk about the fact that like he literally wasn't talking to Goyer, like actually would not communicate with David Goyer.
Post-it notes.
Yeah, post-it notes signed Blade, which is all very. I do want to quickly. I'll give you the 3 taglines they used for this movie. The final hunt begins.
Yeah.
Also, can we stop this is the thing that drives me insane. The retroactive framing of a trilogy, it's still a thing that goes on. It's like some things are designed as trilogies, but then sometimes they just make the third movie now it's a trilogy.
Yeah, now it's a trilogy, and here's the summation.
Yeah, it's like once again, don't put that. This movie's already bad enough. Don't put the weight of this being the final chapter of Blade. And also, if you're gonna do that, that Wesley Snipes idea sounds way cooler, where it is a post-apocalypse. That feels like the culmination of something.
Well, I would still have put Dracula in it, but
sure, yeah.
I just wouldn't have put this Dracula.
Make him the totalitarian leader. And then on that same note, where it began, so it shall end. What?
I like that one. Yeah, because Dracula, he's the beginning.
Yes.
I guess, yeah. Once again, in a movie where they have been a better movie, maybe. And then, of course, the one that's very much what's pissing Wesley Snipes off. He's fought the forces of darkness alone, ... until now. And actually, that's not true, because he always had Chris Christopherson. And
he always had Whistler.
Yeah, and that was a big Wesley Snipes.
Whistler was a vampire for a while.
In the trivia, that was a big Wesley Snipes, apparently, in a meeting going, I don't need anybody but Christopherson. He and I should be fighting vampires. We don't need other fucking side characters.
Man.
I mean, he's not...
Chris Christopherson looks so tired in this film.
Well...
Oh, he does.
Boy, talk about being wasted in this movie. Jesus Christ. Chris Christopherson can't wait to get out of this movie.
Yeah. Hey, Blade. Sorry I'm going to die soon.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, now I'm dead.
Remember when I died?
Literally.
Remember when I died before? Well, now I'm... All right, whatever. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, in this thing, he literally says that I feel like I failed you by getting old. Well, you can't fight alone, Blade. Then we cut to Night Stalker introduction, and then back right before he dies, he says like, "Well, I gotta go sometime," and then he dies.
And then also
that's
the whole
terrible
thing about
construction.
Just like,
you drop your seeds, you have them pay off later.
Yeah,
you don't have it literally be the next scene.
It is like, did they?
I hope I don't die on you. Oh, I did.
Really felt like Chris Christopherson was like, "Yeah, I got 3 days for you guys. That's it, and then I gotta go." Because I just don't have... Yeah, sorry. What, do you want me to also be Dracula walking around at some point, too? Hey, all right. Well, as long as you're doing those 3 days, that's all that matters.
By the way, I love whatever city this is, because...
Oh, it's Vancouver.
Sure. But, you know, whatever fictional city it's supposed to be.
I have no idea, yeah. I mean, it was... I will say that I gotta look at these budgets, because this felt infinitely cheaper. Like all of a sudden we're definitely not in New York anymore. The $65 million budget on this thing, good lord, it does not look that good. The first movie, $45 million, which was a
feels about right.
Smaller scale film purposefully.
Blade 2 was 54.
54. How did this cost more than Blade 2? This looks like shit. This movie looks... Goyer's a bad director. I mean, I'll just say it. Regardless of what he thinks of a writer, he really shouldn't direct, because the directing in this is just... It's not... Okay, it's not bad per se as much as it's not good. Like,
it is. He is anonymous.
Yeah, he has no command. There's no life to these action scenes. There's no character in any of the stuff, and that's a real come down when you're coming off of Guillermo del Toro, or even, while not as like famous a filmmaker as known, Stephen Norrington, who did the first movie, gave it a style and a look and a world, and like, you know, it had a vibe to it. And actually, Norrington apparently was interested in directing this until he read the script. They were going to bring back the guy who made the first movie, and then he went, I read the script, and they said that just the quote it has here is, he did not like it at all.
Wow.
Never mind seemed to be the Stephen Norrington attitude on this.
Well, he saw the Pomeranian, and he's like, you know what?
But this is a guy who chose to direct League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, so that's all I'm saying is like,
oh boy.
boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, terrible movie. But anyway, that's just to say, like, even though this is the most expensive Blade movie, it looks way cheaper than the other two. And a lot of that is...
and a part of that is just like budgetary inflation in Hollywood. We're entering this realm where the budgets of films start to inflate.
That's true.
At an ungodly level because, I mean, for lots of reasons, but CGI bloat becomes a real problem in especially like action movies of this type going forward.
Also, that
and the CGI is terrible.
Even though he would have gotten them much cheaper at this point, just the fact that you expand your central cast to include a couple other people, that is a huge chunk of money right there. When you have now we've got other heroes and a heroine. It's like, there you go. Your money's just going to go towards Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel.
Yeah, man. When you have Van Wilder in your movie, all right?
This movie is just 2 years after that. I find that so funny.
Well, that was his big breakout movie, right? It's sort of regardless of the movie, people... And I remember seeing that movie and being like, wow, this guy's great. Like, and then he'd also been on the sitcom as well, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, which I think, once again... There was always regardless of the material, there was definitely always a vibe that this guy really had something, and if you put him in the right thing, and it would be a few more years before that right thing came along. But I do think,
Green Lantern wasn't until 2011. So
I know a big one we loved. I don't know how, but I think it definitely more solidified him as an action hero than this is a movie I remember seeing and loving. Gorgone, Smoking Aces.
And that was 2 years after this as well.
Yeah, I think that was a better pitch for him as an action hero because it's a better movie to begin with. But yeah, definitely. So let's start in on the movie. I'll say you've got trouble right away when your VO is Ryan Reynolds. That's an indication of when you're talking about who the protagonist is. Ryan Reynolds is telling us about vampires in the Blade movie.
Yeah. He's like,
look, we're already reaching a point where the opening monologue from a character we're not seeing already feels a little hacky in 2004.
Well, they're very much doing the X-Men thing, right? With Patrick Stewart going mutants.
Sure, but I mean, the first two Blade movies have VO right at the top.
Yeah, but it's got more. It's got more of a. Here it feels like you're saying. It feels hacky. It also just feels like we got to do this. We got to tack this on. In the first one, I mean, in the other ones, it was more like vampires are real. Get that through your head.
In this one, they wanted to address the subject, which is near and dear to my heart, and then basically let you know this ain't your daddy's.
Oh God!
So it's just
we've talked about this on the show so many times. We are so sick of whatever you've read about vampires. Forget it, man.
In this one, you've got Ryan Reynolds going like, in the movies and the books and the TV shows, Dracula wears a cape and he's always stopped by some guy carrying a cross and stuff. He goes, yeah, well, forget that because movies are full of shit.
Yeah, if you like that, fuck you.
Fuck you.
But Ryan, we're watching a movie.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
That's kind of the thing.
Dracula's actually Dominic Purcell with a buzz cut and no discernible accent and
which is
leather pants.
They mute him down to this standard American accent when in reality he's Australian, so it's not even using his or he's British actually, isn't he?
How does he know how to speak English?
He's doing actually Dracula in the novel. And supposedly not even with an accent. So he had learned English so well. But in this, they do
this have... Dracula's been buried in a pyramid for 2,000 years.
But then what's insane is he knows.
But then Dracula.
And also he references the Stoker novel. He has a line later. He goes, "You've read Stoker's Fable." So
the thing I think is
Dracula,
hilarious.
This doesn't make any sense.
What I was saying about this city that we don't know where it is. I love the fact that this city has not just a costume shop. It has a specifically goth novelty store.
Yeah, that is almost exclusively
only sell Dracula things.
It's a Dracula store.
It's a Dracula store. I kind of want to know where this is.
Yeah, we would be frequenting it.
Oh yeah, but I need that Dracula dildo
to complete my collection. Once again, that when we get to that, that's another halfway interesting idea of Dracula.
An ancient vampire who is incensed by the modern take on vampires.
Dracula confronting the pop culture vision of himself is kind of an
It was
interesting
what
idea.
I pitched that Night Stalker comic with him meeting Dracula. The whole idea is that Dracula would have a closet where he had obsessively collected stuff that was made in his image. Like, this is what they turned me into.
Yeah.
And yes, Count Chocula cereal and all that kind of stuff. And they put it in this movie, and the whole thing is, I was like,
pointless.
"Oh crap! Is this where I got it from?" I hate to think,
but it's pointless, and it comes to nothing.
It's pointless, and it comes to nothing.
Right.
That's the big problem.
Well, here we go. Iraq.
Oh,
we're in Iraq, right?
Yeah, it's actually Syria at the beginning. They say it's Iraq later, even though the credit line
says
Syria at the beginning.
Wow, I was basing that, off of the, right. Yeah, they say Iraq later. Oh, Goyer.
Those are definitely the same country.
Yeah, whatever. You know,
not crazy far from each other.
One of the places with sand, somewhere.
They found Dracula in Sandtown.
Once again, kind of on board with this scene with the vampire soldiers, and they're like completely covered head to toe. The one gives a finger to the sun. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
That. Like, this opening, besides the fact that I'm sitting there going, "Oh God," it's like, right? I remember they've turned Dracula into this godlike being that's sleeping under a temple in Syria. Sure,
but okay, so take the Dracula out of it for just a second. Once again, a cool idea of the movie is Blade is such a threat to the vampire that they're like, we need to find something ancient and powerful to combat him. That's a cool idea. Like, we need a Blade of our own, basically. Like, this guy is gonna tear through us.
Yep. This whole concept that they have 2 dropped lines about in the film of just this progenitor vampire is considered basically a god to the vampires. Yeah, don't worry about the fact that he's never been mentioned in the previous 2 movies.
Well, I will say, there is everything that's in this movie is not at all seeded by the other movies, where you're like, no, what? The vampire final solution, where they're farming humans, is a deleted scene from the first Blade movie. So that was clearly always something that stuck out to Goyer, the idea that they have warehouse, and that's also not a bad idea.
That's a pretty good idea, and I do think they realized it well in this movie.
I just wish that could have been more of the crux of the plot. I think one of the big problems here is you don't need Dracula in this movie.
You
certainly not this Dracula.
But you have constantly dropped things that are all 1 or 2 sentences, so you never get an overarching plan or thrust. So they've got the final solution thing. They want someone to destroy Blade, so they need someone really powerful. And then they also drop in the idea somehow Dracula's blood will be able to create other Daywalkers. So they're and so they want him for that too. And you're like, well, what is the deal here?
It kind of
pick one. Pick a lane, goddammit.
Much like the warehouse where they're farming people is a leftover thing from the first movie. It feels like Goyer just threw every idea he had for this franchise into this movie, going this is my last chance. I'm going to put all of my Blade movie ideas into this film and just blah.
Because you know what? One thing you don't want to do is focus on anything.
That's the whole idea behind the genetic engineering that creates the Reapers in Blade 2, right? Is that vampire, that lord of the vampires in that movie is trying to create a better vampire.
You're talking about Damaskinos, yes.
Sure.
But that's the whole thing, and that's I guess that's what I'm talking about. A lot of my reaction to this movie is a lot of these ideas were already done better in the other 2 movies. That's sort of the thing here is this doesn't really have much of identity of its own beyond sort of being worse versions of, because that was such a cool idea, is this guy was trying to make vampires better and evolve them, and he ended up creating a monster that would destroy the vampires and subsequently the world. Now that's a good plot.
And that whole plot line is basically turned into the Pomeranian joke in this film when they're like, now we're just fucking around with vampire genes in other animals.
I absolutely fucking hate the vampire dogs in this movie. That is so stupid, and they look like garbage. That CGI is so bad.
Yeah, but you do get Hannibal King making lots of dog jokes and dog dick jokes.
Once again, man, I don't think the character is good, but I do love Ryan Reynolds, and you were just watching him try to save this movie.
Yeah,
he is so young and hungry and ready to be a movie star, and this is just not the movie.
Nope.
And
That's
this
what it
is one of the reasons I'll come back to this movie, not out of a sense of like a deep love of this film or anything, but as sort of a curio at a point in time in which all of these different things are intersecting, because this is the proto Deadpool we're seeing in this film, right?
But just watch
and
Deadpool then, Gorgone, because it's better.
No, but John,
Then watch Deadpool.
I can
And
watch
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool, and I do watch Deadpool and Deadpool 2. My
As you
point
should, they're
is
great.
that this film is an artifact that contains the imprint for the thing we'll see later.
Sure.
I'm not coming back to this movie every single week or anything, but I appreciate it as this artifact that you can excavate and see.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones. Anyway,
It belongs in a museum.
Oh,
is
I
all I'm
agree.
saying.
I
it
agree.
does belong in the
It
museum
belongs in
under
the
lock and key.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It belongs-
Our
never
top
shown.
men are on it.
I was gonna say it belongs
top men.
specifically where the Ark of the Covenant went. Just keep it away, lock it in a wooden crate. Let's never speak of it again. No,
And it will also burn off the Nazi images on the crate.
There's a lot of there's a lot of movies like this where you have people and you're like, oh, that was the right guy in the wrong movie. Like you can see that in a lot of movie star careers where you're like, oh, Hollywood was right. This is the next guy. You just haven't figured out how to package him yet.
And literally, Jessica Biel went from here straight, to the top.
Oh, right, yeah, the Adam Sandler movie where he pretends to be gay. Classic.
Yeah. Classic.
God, how did we think that was okay? By the way, just real quick, how did we ever think that movie was an okay plot for a film? And it kind of presented itself as being like, no, it's like a celebration of gay people.
Yeah, I
don't know, man. I just can't imagine that. I think that movie's intentions were in the right place, but it is super homophobic by any standard.
It is,
today.
of course.
Yeah.
No, we love each other. Don't touch me, man.
It's the same thing. I like because I just like Kevin Kline, the movie In and Out. But rewatching that a couple years ago when it was like on Amazon Prime, I'm going like, oh, your heart was absolutely in the right place for 1996, but this movie is so fucking homophobic now.
All I can say is baby steps.
Yeah.
It was Hollywood
that's the
trying
thing.
to
I'm going like,
normalize and
that movie.
go,
It absolutely thinks it's doing right, and it is by 1996 standards. But now it's like,
Yes.
Oof. All right. So yeah, they you do get a hand. The ground starts to pour in at the beginning in this temple. It's very Indiana Jones, but on the cheap. And a gloved, armored hand comes out and rips off a guy's head. Pretty cool.
Well, not exactly. I will say this about Blade Trinity. It is such a downstep in terms of like how visceral and kind of over the top the gore has been in the previous two films. This movie, like, if it could get away with being a PG-13 movie, if it like basically lost all of its fucks, it probably would have.
Yes.
crazy gory. That's true.
Yes, exactly. That's it. It's not hiding the gore, but it is not indulging in it either. It is just sort of matter of fact, some blood here and there. But yeah, it doesn't have any of the like cool stuff that Norrington or Del Toro did in their movies. There's no like that's a big thing. Is like there's
you
no.
You don't get Norman Reedus getting turned into pink mist in this film.
No, you don't get Ron Perlman getting cut in half. That's something I did think about too. Is there's no like sweet blade kill in this movie really.
No,
It's all just it's a bored looking Wesley Snipes shooting his vampire gun and then just CGI bodies going around him.
and also, I mean, it becomes very clear because of how terribly shot this is. That
real bad.
I mean, because it's essentially the same as what you would have choreographed in the earlier movies, but the way this is shot calls attention in a bad way to the fact that most of it is posing.
Yeah.
And I'm a comic book fan, and when a superhero in a movie does a comic book pose, it's always thrilling. But usually they're doing it purposefully at a specific moment, and you go, yeah. And somehow the actor can also play it off like, this is naturally the way I would stop and stand. In this, it's just Wesley Snipes, as you said, looking bored, going, it looks cool when I do that with the sword. Or now when I'm standing here
but also
for no reason for 3 seconds.
It's not only is it posing, it's he's just like, it looks cool when I do that with the sword because I did that pose in the last like it just feels it just feels like this is a blade pose, this is a blade pose. Like it's just so like all right.
Well, and it's particularly bad in this film because you have a distinct lack of like actual fight choreography.
Yeah.
If you watch all of the scenes in which Blade is actually fighting, he almost never actually touches people, as opposed to like the intense fight choreography you saw in the first 2 Blade films.
Yeah.
He's got that little whip dagger, so he's never actually touching anybody, and the
No,
whip dagger is all
he's
CG.
using a lot of guns.
He's
pulling guns.
There's a
He's
scene.
shooting.
There's one of the scenes when they're infiltrating one of the like 4 scenes where they infiltrate a vampire building, right?
Yeah.
And Jessica Biel is doing a whole like what fight against a vampire, and Blade is just shooting guys just sort of off screen like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I just thought, why am I watching Jessica Biel do martial arts and not Wesley Snipes?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
There's a hilarious bit that like could have been badass, where that final like assault on the vampire building when they're rescuing Hannibal and Blade and Abigail are coming into the building from different directions, and Blade is walking through this central like atrium and dudes are beginning to swarm him, and he is just like single punching or like I don't know. The only way I can describe it is like Power Rangers goon beating.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's a clear single motion he's doing, like you say, Brendan, he's posing, and the guards are like hilariously flying back from him whenever he strikes a pose.
That's how that works.
I do think this is too, and certainly he doesn't look bad, but I do think an indication of how checked out he is. He never takes his shirt off or just wears the vest. He always has full sleeves in the movie. Like Wesley is always going to be a fit dude, but it's clear he didn't even bother to get into like his full superhero shape in this one.
Well, that actually he ends the movie in the tight red T-shirt.
Yes, but I'm saying that, and that's yeah, and that's pretty good. But like
he's still got the vest on over the Under Armour in that.
No, at the very end he has.
When he's in the
shoulder holster on top of the tight red T-shirt. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And in the last scene when he's like on the autopsy table, he's shirtless.
Oh well, there's that too.
I'm not saying he looks bad, but it's once again, I don't think
sex doll.
I don't think he's out of shape or anything. But what I'm saying is, I do think it's interesting that there was so much in the first 2 movies where he's shirtless and you just look into this sculpted physique of this warrior, and here it's all about Reynolds' physique and Beale's to a certain extent, but really, like the whole last chunk of the movie is shirtless Reynolds.
I will give Goyer this much credit. One of the shots that really works, and I think it's because Wesley's I'm bringing it.
We should back that up to the shot that works. No, sorry.
Yeah. But it's the shot where he's been held prisoner and drugged and all that, and they give him the mouth thing, where he comes alive.
Very cool.
And it's just that shot of his body going, he just goes, and it's very just cool. Him popping the chest out. You're like, damn.
That's what I'm paying.
It's where you're like, you guys are about to die now.
I'm paying to see a Blade movie to see that moment. It goes into slow motion, and you watch him like gain his power back. And it's all in the physicality.
David S. Goyer sit there going like, "Oh yes, overracking. Oh yeah, I can do these. I can have like slow down, speed up.
Well, I do think.
It's so cool. What
I do think Gorgone, you were just on the other week for Underworld, and that's definitely. Feels of a piece here. In fact, there. In the trivia, I read that there was some interest of the studio in doing a Blade Underworld crossover film eventually.
Yeah.
That would have been terrible because those worlds.
That was in 2012. Apparently, that was long past Blade Trinity.
Those worlds don't fit together at all, and in no way would that
work.
But
they've got suckheads in the Underworld. I'd loved it. I would
tell Bill Nye it's open season on all suckheads.
But whereas the Underworld films are clearly a like firmer pastiche on the Matrix in terms of their like influences.
I think Wiseman is a way better visual filmmaker than Goyer.
Yeah,
sure. This is so concerned with, I don't know, the frantic pace of this film is so disjointed and all over the place, and trying to fit like 12 characters into this film at any given point,
right.
that it really can't take the time to frame a shot to look cool because we have to just keep moving.
I honestly think the keep moving concept is one of the reasons this feels so disconnected.
Yeah.
I think they were literally doing it on purpose to try to distract you from all the bad plot consistency problems.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, if we just make this kick-ass action movie,
cut this to the bone, man. I mean, it's not like this movie is reasonably. It's an hour 53 minutes, but it is point out that is shorter than the other Blade movies, and it does feel like it is just the momentum is like just keep going. Don't let the movie ever pause long enough for anybody to think about anything that's happening. It's just get to the next thing, and that includes the story points that we're talking about. Like, oh, it's about because let's get back into the movie here. They get Dracula. We're back to the city. We get the opening. Our opening of our Blade doing his thing moment is also just kind of standard. It's not as cool as once again the beginning of Blade. The beginning of Blade 1, I call, and I still think is one of the best opening scenes I've ever seen. Like
tough to beat a blood rave.
That is just such a kick-ass sequence. What a cool idea, how it's realized, the introduction of Blade, but then also the way that Del Toro starts Blade 2 with him barreling through that building and on the run, and he's on the motorcycle and all that stuff. Like, just Blade doing business.
John, you did neglect to tell our listeners that the vampire mercenaries at the beginning of the movie, they're establishing, we are going to see one of the greatest combinations of actors ever, and that is Parker Posey and Triple H.
I have to say, I do. Did you see, also a note in the trivia, Triple H tested so well, they went back and added more scenes and dialogue with them. I'm like, he did?
Oh, good.
Why? He's not abysmal, but he's certainly not good in this movie.
He's just big dude. They tried to give big dude comedy beats, and does it work occasionally? Yeah, all right. He gets to hold the little doggy a lot.
Big guy, little dog. It's hilarious.
It is adorable.
They really thought that was
fat guy in a little coat.
Yeah.
Fat guy in a little coat.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's so big and the dog's so little.
It is so good.
I see. It's a juxtaposition. Oh my God, this movie's
But the vampire mercenaries have dug up Dracula, and he is a snarling, scary, demonic.
He's a snarling, big teeth, armor wearing. Oh God! If I'm gonna watch an armor wearing Dracula, I'm watching Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Well, I think that's where this design, what they were thinking of.
Do you think so?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, except for we don't have anywhere near the costume budget or ingenuity of that film. So we're gonna. Well, they
don't worry. They make up with it with leather pants. All the leather pants you can want.
Man, yeah, he pulled this right out of the closet of Stuart Townsend from Queen of the Damned.
Yes, he
did.
Look,
they had plenty of leftover material from Conan the Destroyer, so they were able to just really stock up and use all of that.
Yep.
So they all right. So we're introduced to Blade doing his thing, but like I said, even the movie's going like, I don't know. You know, this is it's one of those Blade scenes.
Well, you can already tell there's a difference in the tempo of this because, like I said, a lot of the kills are a little less personal. It's a lot more just like Blade doing a pose and somebody dying, whether it's with a gun or his little whip dagger. There's a lot more explosions right off the bat, which has not been a hallmark of Blade films.
A lot of fire.
He's up on a freeway overpass and he's shooting at vampires and cars. I do like vampires with guns. I mean, that's a little thing that's kind of underworld. I'm like, it's not like they would always be swooping in and biting people. But anyway, he's shooting them from the overpass, and then he's in radio contact with Whistler, who's in his truck. And Whistler's like, I'm coming right under you, here it comes.
Once again, as much as you can fit into my 3 days of availability. I'm there.
So Blade jumps on top of the truck, and then he kind of slides off and lands on a car.
I kind of like this.
But here's the thing. Even in the MCU, they do a better job with this kind of thing. So the mysterious guy in the black duster ends up on a normal civilian's car.
Yeah.
And instead of the civilian, like you would do, going like, holy shit, and braking, it's literally like, the driver of the car is like, hey, get off my roof.
Yeah. It is that.
I'm like, what?
What I like there, once again, it's all at least conceptually, I'm liking this chase. I like the Whistler's truck having Blade's car, and he drives. That's very Batman-y. That's cool in concept. In execution,
No.
Goyer's not good at Goyer's not good at pacing this stuff.
Nope.
I just like that the car is back in this film because it's basically absent from Blade 2.
Yeah, there's just kind of no need for it in Blade. He doesn't really do anything with it, and that's true.
I don't think of it as a huge part of the mythos, so I wasn't going, oh, thank God they brought back the car.
I'm not going, thank God.
Movie Blade's got a cool car. That's a thing with Movie Blade.
We talked to our pal Ibrahim Mustafa, who made a model of it.
Yep.
I'm saying.
Blade gets into the 18-wheeler back the trailer, which does in fact have his car, so he's able to roll out, immediately get back into the chase.
Yep.
And he chases down the vampires. He dusts plenty of them that all seem to jump on his hood, which is very convenient.
I like the
I'm a vampire. He goes,
I like the only one I think is good here, because it's the only time that you spotlight him dusting a vampire, is the one on the motorcycle who crashes into the back of Blade's car and ends up in the front seat, and Blade shoots him in the head with the shotgun. That was cool.
No, I like that. I mean, this is all still the opening part that I'm liking to some degree. The guy that ends up on the hood that he blasts, I like that the dust covers the vampire dust covers his windshield, and he turns the windshield
That's
wipers
good.
on.
I also like when he activates the UV high beams. Like, once again,
I love the Batmobile-esque thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I know that's for the audience. What if it was if you have to label it, maybe what if it's a little bitty like sticker thing that says UV, but this is like the Batmobile. It's literally like this big placard that's like ultraviolet lights. I'm like, come on, man. Blade would know exactly. He doesn't need to have a label on it at all.
Also, I just that feels like, once again, where it's like, you better put in an insert shot or they're not going to understand. Because I feel like any audience is smart enough to see him flip a switch, different lights come on, and vampires burn.
Right.
And you could even do, I mean, if you wanted, I would have had him go, gotta love that UV or something like that.
You could have that work. I would say you could go with a small little thing that said UV. He just would not have a huge fucking sign on his dash.
Nice to know, nice to know that UV I put in is working. I mean, once again, I'm just always trying to get anything a little bit just more. I don't know. It's just you're right, Gorgone. There's just something off about the pacing, or like the vibe of these actions. It's doing Blade action, but everything kind of feels. I kept thinking cheaper, but like slower or clumsier. Or
what it is that as a filmmaker, Goyer isn't necessarily catching up to where action movies are kind of getting to. This is an action movie that very much feels of a piece with something you would see in the early 90s.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Which is interesting
this
because
feels put together in such a way that it is
totally
doing it so A, you don't have to see Wesley Snipes very much, and B,
no.
The action is oriented on big, flashy bits in the middle of what can be construed through editing as a quick chase.
Yeah.
Like, the actual action beats themselves are these little pops in the middle of a speed-ramped camera.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that what's interesting is I think the Blade movies were part of that new generation of action movies that were pushing that forward. I think what both of those first two movies were more in the realm of the Matrix, or what we're seeing, whether it's sort of being maybe too inspired by, but it is what Underworld is trying to bring the monster movie into that realm. So I at least appreciate the ambition of something like Underworld, where here there's just a lack of ambition. Really, it really does feel like everyone
they've created a world that makes consistent sense. And also, if you're going to, the reason I think a lot of the first two movies work, in addition to excellent directors, is they are establishing this world under the world. And this has no mystique to it. This is literally like Blade is a known public figure, and he's known to kill people.
Right.
But, there's no bodies. And this whole thing of, it seems clever on the surface. Basically, he's been set up by the vampires because he's dusting vampires, but the driver of this car, when the car spills over, the guy comes out And Blade's like, hey, I shot you through the chest with a silver arrow. So why aren't you dust? He goes, you idiot. I'm not a vampire. That's kind of clever. And he takes his teeth out and it's all a set. He goes, you've been set up. So the guy knew he was going to die in a suicide mission, but
which is also a cool idea of the familiar being that much of a sycophant.
Right. So, but the whole thing, and he's being filmed from far away by Parker Posey.
Oh, so by the way, poor Parker Posey, just her whole design in this movie.
Yeah,
they really
here's
vamp
the first
her up.
of many well, it only happens this way because the script says so moments in this movie, and that is every other person we've seen get killed in this whole action scene at the beginning has been a vampire, and they've been exploding into ash.
Yeah.
The one guy who is the human bait here to set Blade up, what guarantee did the vampires have that this guy was going to be the one to die last and in public?
I know.
That is excellent. That is an excellent point. Yeah, that is very true.
What if Blade just smoked this guy in the warehouse when it exploded first?
Smoked this guy in the warehouse, or this guy just just died in the car crash that isn't even necessarily Blade shot him.
I'm saying on the page this is a cool idea, but it is things that you think about later.
I like the idea.
Plus the fact that the video she has shot, she's going to anonymously leak to the media.
Right.
And instead of the media going some guy in a dark coat drove a car into a crash and then viciously shot a guy in the middle of the freeway. Instead, they're going, Blade.
Well, there's a dropped line that Parker Posey has later where she literally says, we've been moving the humans around like pawns, all in an effort to, set you up.
Well,
so I have a feeling the vampires are behind making him a public figure.
And that's something I don't. That's something
the FBI have been following.
That's
Blade
something I don't like. Once again, well, when we get to the FBI. Jesus, talk about a waste of a great actor. James Remar has nothing to do.
Has nothing to do. He has 2 lines.
But we do find out that the chief of police in this city and the pop doctor that John Michael Higgins plays are both familiars working for the vampires.
That's what I'm talking about, though. I don't want that. I think it'd be more interesting to see the vampires have just sort of seeded information and let the human paranoia or whatever. I think a more interesting idea of what if you reframed it the James Remar, because I kind of like that the FBI has a sketch of Blade. What if you just had an FBI agent going this guy's been spotted around a lot of criminal activity. I don't know what his deal is. He's just a mysterious figure. And maybe
I would prefer that.
Maybe it's only James Remar going I'm telling you guys, there's somebody out there up to something. And then when this video comes out, it's that's that fucking serial killer I was telling you about.
It's not just that they know that, and that the vampires are leaking information. It's not just that they know that this mysterious figure, who they know is named Blade, has been killing people.
Yeah.
They also know his motivation. They're going, guy thinks he's killing vampires.
Well, that's another thing, too. What if then they did arrest him? Because I like the idea of him being arrested, and he's telling them the vampire, and that's when they bring in the psychologist, because they're like, oh, this guy's fucking crazy. But they don't know that until he tells them about the vampires.
But instead, what we get is...
But that would also posit a movie where that's the bulk of the plot. Here, they just want to get through this as quick as possible. It's just another one of the ideas.
That this is giving us a world where... Not only is there still live call-in television interview programs.
God, that was really on its last legs at this point,
I don't think it still exists at this point at all.
In 04,
but live,
we're right in that sort of,
If it's local TV, maybe.
Yeah.
Because
that was public access is what we did.
Yeah.
Public access. You've got Eric Bogosian.
Well, it's very Charlie Rose in presentation, right? or Larry
except for
King.
The calls. We're
Larry
take
King
calls.
Larry King, I guess, would be the call-in thing, right?
We got one from Poughkeepsie. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this scene, as much as I love Eric Bogosian, 10 times better scene if they actually got Larry King to play himself. Let's talk about vampires. He was talking about ghosts and Ghostbusters, so why not?
You have him sitting there going, tonight on the show, this guy who's a pop psychologist wrote this book, and we have this police detective. And until they explain this, you're like, what show is that? And you're thinking, oh, they'll both be guests on the show. Instead, they're literally sitting at the table at the same time. And you have this guy, Eric Bogosian's character, going, so tonight we're talking about Blade. and vampires.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God, I'm out.
Well,
I'm out of this movie. I'm done.
By the way, this scene, literally, it's the same year Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy does this same scene, and it's way better. Because in that, they do see this whole thing that Hellboy is this tabloid thing, right? And you've got Jeffrey Tambor out going, no, that's not a thing,
That's the misdirect, which you would expect in a world like that, where they're like, there's this blurry photo that someone caught of a guy with a tail, and you're like, oh, I don't know what that's camera trickery. There's no such thing.
Or X2 does it as well, where they've got I mean, this is fucking Batman v Superman. Literally has Charlie Rose talking about Superman.
Well, I want that.
Yeah, where he's like, so
except
tell
for
me
Charlie Rose is a sex monster.
Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah.
The issue this movie runs into is that it's not necessarily trying to reframe something we already know. It's trying to literally frame the film, because this movie is an early 2004 movie that feels the need to explain everything.
Yeah.
And so this whole sequence is just to let us know that there is a vast conspiracy of vampires and that there is only one man trying to stop it, and his name is Blade.
The thing I do want to point to, as I always do, read the reviews, Roger Ebert's review of Blade Trinity, his 1.5 star review, and he was a big fan, as we read, of the first two movies. And
yeah,
says
they include this in the whole.
But he's talking about. He goes, how many vampires on Earth are there? Because it seems like they all exist in this Canadian city. He just goes, if this is this vast vampire conspiracy, it's like, I don't know. It seems like Blade should be able to take out all the vampires because they all exist in the same, 10-block radius.
I mean, the first two Blade movies kind of have the same problem, honestly.
They don't,
like
though.
they're less focused on this idea of a worldwide conspiracy, so you don't think about it as much. But all the vampire problems that Blade confronts are happening in the city he's already in.
Well, you do have him globetrotting more in the second movie, where he's going to Romania, where he goes to Russia at the end of the thing. But also, you get the sense it's a conglomerate, like the boardroom of vampires is in New York, number one, a clear city where you would think would be a center of power in that movie. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as any superhero thing, right? They're city bound. But here, when you're talking about massive, it is only the vampires of, and I'm sorry, it is fucking I didn't have to look. It looks like Canada, which looks cheap to me. Like I know a movie shot in Vancouver, and I know a movie shot in Bulgaria. I've gotten good enough. I've done enough Action Shelf to be able to spot these cities.
Also, those are your favorite tourist locations.
Oh God, I love them, man. Nothing like a trip to Bulgaria for the summer. Am I right? But anyway, I just go read. People should read Roger's review, because he's so disappointed. He's like you and I, Brendan, talking about this movie, just going like, I really like those first two. I thought they were pretty clever. What happened? He's just. He's just like, this is just dumb. I don't know.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
So much of it is dumb and handled so clumsily.
I think he nails it here in his opening paragraph when he says, it lacks the sharp narrative line and crisp comic book clarity of the earlier films and descends too easily into shapeless fight scenes that are chopped in so many cuts they lack all form or rhythm. And I think that's
exactly right.
And that's kind of what you were saying, Gorgone, about. I think that absolutely describes it is using cuts in place of rhythm or actual pacing. It is trying to give the effect of action happening, which once again, for a franchise that was built on like martial arts scenes initially, really bad, because martial arts is about the flow of motion and scene. Like, well, we don't have Donnie Yen back on this movie choreographing, which is a huge problem.
There is still some shoddy CGI in Blade 2 specifically.
Yeah.
What?
But it is used to try to stitch together the fight sequences a lot of the time to make them feel more like one-shot takes.
Yes.
Right?
So you know how you know it's a good director, and of course, let's not leave out editors. But basically, the whole idea of working with what you got and making it work.
Yeah.
Yes, the fact that the CG is shaky in the first two movies, both, you sit there going, you don't make that a blow against the movie, because it moves and you're convinced enough.
It's like an
to
after
where
the fact
you're
thing.
along for the ride. You're just like
It's
going,
more like a
yeah, man, today this would look completely different and much better.
Well, 'cause
I don't care.
It's more
This
like
movie's got me.
That's what I'm saying. It's more like an after the fact comedy. You go like, the CGI is a little dated, but yeah, you move on. Whereas here,
Deacon Frost turns into a blood balloon. I'm there for it,
hey,
man.
it's still better than we talked about that test footage when he turned into a blood tornado with his head peeking out. Ooh,
Yeah.
well,
that was a wise
boy.
choice
Ooh,
to change
boy.
that. Holy shit.
So yeah,
Blood tornado. Speaking of blood tornado, gentlemen, werewolf break real quick.
Oh, I don't like that transition though.
I'm sorry, I know.
Brendan,
that is horrible.
Brendan, have you talked to your doctor about this blood tornado that's coming at you? That's all I'm saying. I don't know, Doc. It's the only way to describe it is sort of like a blood tornado.
By the way, can I just say that whenever you see those commercials, which are horrible, and it's all we seem to get now are about new medicines, and they give you the big list of things at the end.
May cause blood tornadoes.
Well, he may cause blood tornadoes, but one of them is several of them are like, don't take if you're allergic to this drug. And the thing that I'm always blown away by that, I'm like, how would you know this is a new drug, but stay away from it if you're allergic to this drug, which you've never taken before? What are you getting at, man?
Yeah.
Don't take if you're allergic to the drug. I don't know yet.
By the way, that'll be a whole 5-minute bit on your new HBO stand-up special, right?
Oh my God, I can't wait for you guys to hear my material about airline food too.
All right.
Anyway, I'm gonna get something to drink because my throat, like I said, is pretty shredded. So I'll be right back. And we're back.
And we're back. Yeah, back here on the Morning Zoo Crew talking about Blade Trinity. Yeah.
Johnny C and the Wolf. Ow!
I'll tell you, here's my review of the movie. It's just a toilet flush sound effect.
We're a zoo crew all of a sudden. I love it.
I feel like I was always, I was so bummed when I used to do morning radio. It was totally not a zoo crew vibe at all.
Right.
I would have done much better in that setting, I think. All right.
What's your review over there, Fartsy?
Classic Fartsy.
Classic Fartsy.
Yeah.
Classic Fartsy.
So they, the police. Oh wait. First, before the police, the FBI are gonna show up and arrest Blade, which is great. Right. Actually, that was just live footage of the IRS coming to what's his name's house. No, this is where we get the introduction of Blade. I've made some improvements to your vampire serum. Here you go. It's an inhaler now.
Yep.
Actually, well, because that removes a lot of the like addiction drug overtones that were a part of the first two films. Oh
yeah, God forbid that we do that continually interesting dramatic thing.
Yes. Yeah, and especially how they lean into it in the second film, where it's like, okay, the Reapers are like, I think they actually even say the line like crackhead vampires.
Yeah, I think they call them junkies or something at that point too. Yeah, which is very much the imagery of what they are. And this movie has the audacity though to still do dying Dracula going, "You'll never defeat the thirst, Blade." And you're like, that's not what this movie's been about at all.
I know.
What are you fucking talking about? Stop it, movie.
Yeah. Well, Dracula has that whole thing where it's like they thought they needed me to make a new kind of vampire, and the new kind of vampire was staring them right in the face.
Yeah, but that was already the second movie where they were going to bleed him for his thing, and for Christ's sake. And
there's so much retread and
the first movie where they needed his blood to turn into blood guts. That's every one of these movies, man.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
But had we gotten the Night Stalkers spinoff, it would have been about werewolves. I don't know if you saw that they shot what was supposed to be
I saw that as an alternate closing.
Yeah.
That was going to be like Night Stalkers moving on, and now they're taking down a werewolf.
They're like in a casino, and there's a werewolf, I think is what I heard the description.
Named Jack Russell.
Was it named Jack Russell?
I will say, yeah, they filmed an alternate ending where it is Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds in a casino in Shanghai or something, and they track down a werewolf. The werewolf doesn't look half bad in the thing they shot.
I didn't actually
It's
watch.
like it's a practical werewolf.
So you've got the Blu-ray, is what you're telling us?
Yeah, of course I do, and I've watched all the special features.
Actually, that's something I will say. I had to rent this movie because I don't actually own a copy of it. I used to have the Blu-ray set of the trilogy because that was just how you had it, but then when they released the 4Ks, I was able to just buy the first and second individually, and I feel
there you go.
so much happier as a result of it. I still own a copy
just
of Batman
because
and
my
Robin,
Blu-ray
though.
case can open up and we can just tuck Trinity right behind Blade 2 in the tray and just click that disc down on top, so you never have to even look at it.
Is that how it is? I can't remember if this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that when it's like, oh man, that's like some of the Universal Monsters movies where they would when we were doing the Universal Monsters series on the Blu-ray set, it's like Frankenstein gets its own disc loaded with special features. Dracula gets its own disc loaded with special features. Then you get to like a one disc with 4 movies on it, like for sequels.
It's like, yeah, here's an invisible agent, invisible woman.
Yeah.
Just watch.
Just put those on there. There's no special features. There's no even designed menu. Like it's just
My favorite thing about the Blu-ray set that I have is like the menu design is so like whatever that was like available on Pro Tools that they just slapped on here, but they have the audio from older DVD menus. So you have these like audio cues happening in the menu that are clearly supposed to line up with some kind of motion or video that is happening in the background that just isn't happening in this menu.
Yeah. So Blade gets arrested by the FBI. Whistler sacrifices himself for an FBI raid. Lame.
By the way, this scene, like I said before, is so badly done because Blade is meditating. Whistler basically is like, hey man, I hope things don't go bad. I hate to leave you alone.
And he references I got that from a friend. It's just like, also, we just got real quick. There's like other characters in this movie you'll meet later. If I don't set that up, people are gonna be
he's
confused.
like, friends? You got friends? He goes, yeah, you might try that.
In fact,
sometime.
One of them might
you can't do this alone, and I'm old.
One of them might be my long lost daughter that was born out of wedlock.
Yeah, could be, but she'll explain it. But the whole thing is that they do this, and then it's literally like 5 minutes later. That Blade is just sort of standing there. Now he's no longer meditating. He's all suited up.
I'm all done with my meditating.
And Whistler walks over and goes, what's going on? He goes, that thing you were talking about, it's happening right now. Well, why don't you start running and move? Yeah. Also, I love the fact that Whistler gets on his ass about, you shouldn't have taken down that familiar, that you kill a human in front of other humans. They're going to think you're famous now. And then in this scene, Whistler and Blade, instead of running and avoiding
killing these FBI agents.
They start killing, and are they just going to assume they're all familiar? They're not all familiar, so they're fine with killing humans who are coming after them because they are gunning down FBI dudes.
Well, because James Remar isn't a familiar, right? He's just an FBI agent.
And Whistler sacrifices himself by, during the gunfight, he is running computer to computer. I don't know why he's doing this too, because
by
if
the
nothing
way,
else,
when I think of great computer users, Chris Christopherson really comes to mind. That's
he's also like the scientific genius of this group. And
okay, fuck yeah, come on, man.
But the whole thing of it, him deleting like the information on the computers before the FBI gets there, I'm like, why? Wouldn't the information you've gathered prove a worldwide vampire conspiracy to the FBI?
All my porn, I got to get rid of it.
Yeah,
but
I got that weird shit on there with the donkeys.
I may be about to blow up, but I can't let this get out. Sorry, go ahead, Gorgone.
They know the vampires are setting Blade up. Like, they have established that at this point. And Blade is aware of that fact because Chris Christopherson tells him that, like, the vampires are setting us up. And so...
Hi, Blade, just want to pop in real quick to mention the vampires are setting us up.
Sure, but, like, he's deleting all this stuff because
guys are innocent humans.
They don't know that.
Well, and it's unclear because, once again, we have no idea how vast the conspiracy of familiars are.
And again, it's just another disjointed bit of this movie. James Remar is a through line in this movie. He shares one scene with Wesley Snipes and actually never discovers that Wesley Snipes is right the whole time.
No, even at the end of the movie, they just find what they think is Blade's bod, and he's like, I guess that guy got what was coming to him. Oh, wait, he's really Dracula? I'm out of this movie, man.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I should have left during that Eric Bogosian scene, but again, I guess I'm out now.
James Remar's like, I got to get to a Comic-Con somewhere. I don't know. It's sign some more Aliens posters or whatever. Oh, no, I wasn't in that, actually, because I got arrested. Anyway, he was supposed to be Hicks in Aliens. That's all right. Yeah.
He would have been great, but I'm very happy with what we got.
He was cast as Hicks, and like 2 days before they were set to start filming, he got busted for cocaine possession.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He's all right now. He's talking about he had some rough times. And he's done just fine. He's got all that
Yes,
Dexter
he has.
money.
James Remar is
in fact, actually,
guy.
he's really good in he's in one really solid scene in Oppenheimer. That he gets like a good spotlight scene in that.
Supposedly, I'm going to be able to see that on Friday in 70mm.
As you should, sir. It's fucking great.
At the Hollywood. Yeah.
It is great. That's where I saw it. So yeah, they arrest him. Chris Christopherson blows up. Once again, feels so unnecessary. But he is just like, can I please get out of this movie already? Jesus Christ. And also, it's sort of like he already died and then came back only to die in a much less dramatically interesting way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not super sold on him coming back in Blade 2, but it is what it is.
Oh, he's fucking great in Blade 2, though. It's totally worth it.
Fine
how
in
awesome
Blade
he is.
2.
Man, you have been against Christopherson from day one.
Yeah.
You
hate
hated his
music.
turn in A Star Is Born. You've hated his solo albums. What's your problem with Chris Christopherson?
I just think he doesn't have enough country in his soul. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
This guy's fake country, man.
that guy couldn't make a movie like Power of the Dog.
You really want me to say this? You're not gonna like what I have to say about this. This is the best part of that Sam Elliott thing. It's just he goes, "You don't want to hear what I have to say." All right, here I go. So meanwhile, the vampires are keeping Dracula in their top secret lair, which of course is once again pretty much just the same place that Deacon Frost was hanging out. It might as well be.
Yeah,
it's a high-rise like business building that they control and own.
Very once again, basically the same hideout Deacon Frost had. Let's come up with
high-tech office building that apparently also has some sort of bizarre torture pit.
Sure.
Prison cell.
Yeah.
Where they have again, this is not my Dracula. Don't like this take pretty much at all. But it is an effective scene where Parker Posey goes, I'm going to go talk to him. And they're like, damn, man, I don't know. He's just been feeding for so long.
He's been feeding, yeah.
For
That's
days.
a cool idea.
And she walks to the cell, and it's always great to see a tough-ass vampire facing something more powerful because her fear is great. And then they show just stacks of bodies. And I know for me, I'm like, yeah, I do like that. I do like Dracula going, I got a lot to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all my, burger wrappers is basically what they are. And that's pretty.
Why would Parker Posey's vampire be horrified by the stacks of human corpses?
Oh, I don't think she's horrified by that. I think what it is she's just confronted with that savagery, which she and all the other fancy vampires, they pride themselves on. They've come so far.
Well, look at
this is their
so much so that they're
god vampire.
So much so that they're even they're keeping humans in a warehouse to pump them for blood. They're a little bit more
Dracula's
civilized.
Literally just chomping.
It's a savagery,
as a demon, and I think she's just like, Jesus.
I think
Christ.
it's I think it's the mass of dead bodies more so than the individual death, as much as it's just like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking savage. And who knows how crazed he is too? He might eat me while he's at it.
Sure. I mean, we are introduced to him where he like bites the head off of another vampire. So,
but anyway, he's now he's no longer in his demon form.
He has the detachable alien jaw. At this point, he looks like Predator.
Yep.
And then he transforms into what everyone assumes of when they think of Dracula, Dominic Purcell.
Once again, I don't think he's an inherently bad choice. He could have been good in a better written Dracula part.
And I kind of like the demon like creature. We don't get a good look at it until the end of the movie, but like I like the design of just like this creature because it kind of does tie back into.
He looks Satan-like because he's got bat ears and big horns and all kinds of stuff. And you're like, I gotcha. Or he's close to literally Tim Curry and Legend, except for he doesn't have the big longhorn horns.
That design rules.
No, that is one of the best makeup jobs ever.
And I like that they even like the Predator mandible is like a kind of extension of the Reapers from Blade 2.
Yes,
kind of implying that was always sort of a part of the vampire DNA.
Yeah,
Pop open that jaw and go with that noise. Yang.
Yeah. So here's hunky Dominic Purcell. An actor who I've always liked. I used to watch his show John Doe back in the day.
I liked John Doe.
John Doe was
I do like him a lot.
And then he was on Prison Break, and he was Heat Wave and the CW stuff. Good actor. He is a nameless henchman in Mission Impossible 2.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
he's sort of wasted in this film because there's this undercurrent of Dracula being dismissive of modern day vampires that they don't actually explore all that much.
Well, they don't explore Dracula, period, really. I mean, I think that's the thing is he's I agree the take on Dracula is terrible. He's neither good nor bad because there's really almost nothing to play in the scenes, right? He also is he and Wesley both in this are kind of just props. They're kind of just around. They don't really have much character motivation. All the plot is around Dracula. Dracula has no goal in this movie, does he? Like, the whole thing is they need Dracula, and he's just like, oh.
I mean, at best, he is vaguely captivated by Blade as a rival-ish.
Yeah, but there's
just like another step in the evolution of the species he spawned.
You know, we love a supervillain Dracula on this show, and there's no other than he's really powerful, there's no sense he's their leader in any way. Parker Posey is really the villain of the movie.
No, and that's, again, leaning on the problems that this movie is so disjointed in that, we don't crystallize any of our antagonistic forces around a central figure.
Can I chime in with a real personal nitpick? Again, we know that...
You've never done that on this show before, so...
Goyer is... Like we always say with the writing, he's competent enough that he's had a career that I could only dream of. But here's the thing.
I mean, quite literally, most of the stuff he's gotten to work on
is
all my favorite
stuff. And I don't mind a comic book world with comic book characters, but when he's
famously love it.
when he is inventing characters for this movie, I want to talk about names.
Yes.
Parker Posey is...
Yes, I'm with you on this.
Parker Posey is doing Parker Posey. She's great, as always. She's never tried to conceal the fact she's Southern. Yep. She may not be able to really change that much. But her character, who we don't know how old a vampire she is.
By the way, something wrong with her fangs, though. I felt like her mouth was infringed upon in this movie in a way that can happen.
I think that she has naturally, she's got a big old grill of teeth, which is, she looks, I mean, Parker Posey's gorgeous, but I think when you add to that, there's some people whose natural mouth formation,
everything about
you put fangs in it, you're like, oh, that just doesn't
I just
work.
kept fixating on the weird way her mouth was moving over her lines in the film.
Each vampire in this film has their fangs at a different position in their mouth.
Yes, they do. And one of them has
Triple
metal
H has metal
fangs.
Yeah, what is that about?
But I'm not done.
All right, yeah, sorry, you go ahead. Yeah, her name.
So, look, vampires are people that get turned into vampires.
Yes.
But
not in this universe, they're not.
Well, it depends, right?
We're explicitly told in Blade 2 that there are vampires who are born vampires.
Well, that's the thing in the first movie, right? That's the first. The whole thing is.
Deacon Frost am going to finish my point.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about they have normal people names? Dracula is an iconic name, but of course that's actually a Romanian
but it's also
name,
stupid, so he's Drake now. All right, good.
Yeah, sure. In the comics, Frank Drake is the human relative ancestor of Dracula, and the name changed at some point.
Well,
for obvious
also,
reasons.
I think if you had a movie where Dracula was pretending to not be Dracula and called himself Drake, I'd be okay with that.
Exactly. But here we have Danica Talos.
Yep.
Is her name.
Yep.
Along with her twin, who is played by Callum Keith Rennie.
Good character actor.
Asher Talos.
Yep.
We also have Virago, is a vampire lady.
Oh man, a totally racist Francois Yip.
Francois Yip.
Yeah, who's
you also have
Chinese
the character played by Triple H, Paul Levesque.
Yep.
His character's name is Jarko Grimwood. And all I could do is say, excuse me, Mr. Goyer?
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling just called,
Yeah,
and she said, "Cut it out." Because this is so stupid.
I took one of those Harry Potter house tests. I'm House Grimwood, actually.
I am House Grimwood. These are the kind of names that someone who is doing like a goth story, fan fiction, or someone writing a comic. But you can't have them all have names like that. It's like when the Crow. I mean, his name is Eric Draven. We get it. Darkness.
Well, I'm okay with Eric Draven as one guy's name.
As one guy, one guy's name. But if everyone was something like Shadowfield, or and Underworld does it too.
Yeah, Underworld, I'm more okay with it because it's so heightened anyway.
Why couldn't she be like Margaret Johnson? And yeah, that's completely undramatic. It's more about how she plays the fucking character, not the fact that she's walking around. My name is Elizabeth Batworthy, or whatever the fuck.
It's the Victor Fries thing, right? It's just like, well, that guy was going to end up being an ice villain. It's just going to happen.
And Brennan, what you got to understand about vampire culture is, and I'm sorry for vampire splaining at you a little bit, but when you become a creature of the night, when you get embraced by the darkness, you choose a new name as you are baptized in blood.
Now hold on. See, this is the point.
Don't be pulling your fucking White Wolf nonsense into this.
This is the point I was going to make that I liked in the second movie is when you meet the Blood Pack in that. They all have stupid names they've obviously chosen. Snowman and Lighthammer.
Preacher, Lighthammer.
Yeah, right. Like that they all have. Whereas Ron Perlman is just Reinhardt, though. Like that was just his name because he was a Nazi. Which I love. Oh God, do I miss the Blood Pack, man. Instead we get the fucking Night Stalkers who were.
That's fine, John. They get killed most of the way through.
Well, that's a big problem.
Man, the Night Stalkers will eventually include Ghost Rider, and you're gonna have Doctor Strange with them.
Oh, do you?
You're gonna have Brother Voodoo.
By the way, do you think they were angling if this had taken off?
And a werewolf,
if the Night Stalkers,
who happens to be a werewolf by night.
But if the Night Stalkers movie had taken off and happened. Would they have eventually met up with Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze because it's the same studio?
I mean, this was a New Line film, so I doubt it.
I don't know, though. I think that would.
It's about legal issues, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it would have happened. I think it would have. They would have at least tried to happen.
Or you know where it would have happened in your fan fiction.
Oh yeah.
At best, it would have crossed over with Goyer's previous Marvel work with the Nick Fury TV movie.
Oh. Yeah,
which I've seen.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And the only credit I'll give that is, hey, they didn't shy away from all. I mean, there's the Contessa. There's
once again,
I
have no doubt the man knows comic books and loves comic books. But even like his comic book work is like that Teen Titans run with Jeff Johns. It's still like anything I like of his. Like, because I'm looking at his IMDb and I go, oh, fuck, that's right, he wrote Dark City. Oh, but it's rewritten by Alex Proyas, who also directed. Okay, well, now, now, wait a minute. That's the thing, is everything with him, when you get unfiltered Goyer, he's pretty second rate.
Oh, dude, you know those vampires are looking for a little bit of that unfiltered Goyer. Straight in the vein.
I'm just saying, it's so interesting. Or, like, he does co-show run the Sandman show on Netflix, which is amazing, but he co-show runs it with Neil Gaiman. I think he's a guy who knows the studio system, and so somebody like the system, Gaiman,
and I think he also knows the structure.
Yeah.
Except for don't let the man direct or edit, someone please rewrite his dialogue.
Well, he's the guy. Famously, there was the thing a couple years ago. Do you remember when he was talking about how you could just never do Martian Manhunter? It's too stupid.
Yeah.
It would never work on film. It's just too dumb. You'd have to completely remake the character. And it's just like, oh shit, this guy's writing movies for DC. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing,
man? Go straight to heck. That's right. I'm pulling the big dialogue down. I'm saying the word. He needs to go to heck.
I mean, that's
because Martian Manhunter's awesome. And you could do it.
Well, they did. If you see the Zack Snyder cut, and he was pretty.
You see him for like 2 seconds. But
he's pretty fucking cool in that movie, though.
Yeah, and they've used him in all the CW shows.
And he's actually, I love him on the Supergirl. He's really awesome on there. All right, so let's just get to the FBI is they're questioning Blade. John Michael Higgins comes in as this pop psychologist who, of course, also is a fucking familiar, because why not? Boy, I love John Michael Higgins, and he has nothing to do in this movie.
The
Nothing.
cops have called, the FBI have called in a pop psychologist for this reason.
We
of
were
course,
introduced
we
to
know
him
this is all
on
part of the vampire conspiracy.
We were introduced to him on Eric Bogosian's talk show.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, I don't think that's who they'd call in.
No.
Perhaps someone they've worked with before in a clinical fashion.
Or perhaps the entire division they have about criminal psychology, the behavioral science unit, you would think maybe would come in.
But they call this guy in just so he can be...
The FBI doesn't call this guy in. The chief of police calls this guy in. And the chief of police is also familiar.
We know why.
But the chief of police would...
Still,
the chief of police
the rest of the cops would be like, what?
But this is an FBI case. Now, the chief of police would have nothing to fucking say about any of this
This
shit.
would be like the police calling in Dr. Laura Schlesinger and like going, we want you to interview this.
Yeah, I don't
but
think...
basically, it is a good scene for, John Michael Higgins, or just Michael Higgins. He's so great. So great that he can be dramatically creepy and effective.
Great
but
actor.
The whole thing of him like going, well, you're crazy, vampires don't exist, and then gets in close and turns away from like the two-way mirror or whatever, just so he can slide his hand down so Blade can see his little glyph tattoo.
Well, yeah, he didn't get a sexy glyph tattoo like Ryan Reynolds,
no. So he's like, yeah, I'm one of them, and we got you, sucker.
Yeah.
He actually says it like that, which is really weird.
Like I said, any watchability to this movie is mostly due to he did get a lot of good actors to say horrible dialogue, but everybody, all of these actors, or the vast majority of the cast, I should say, I don't want to put Triple H in the category of great actors.
You get Natasha Lyonne.
Oh,
for
breaking,
she's so wasted in this
Lord,
film.
She is
that is Summerfield,
but she's actually. She gets a lot of the Gleep Glop stuff, and she's such a good actor that she is saying it so sincerely.
Yep. And you buy her as mom of the adorable Moppet.
Yeah.
Adorable Moppet alert. I'm sorry.
Oh boy,
and by the way, Goyer should have gone to script writing jail. You get one baby fake out. You don't get two baby fake outs in one goddamn movie. I thought it was clever that Jessica Biel as Abby, her thing is baiting vampire youth by being a woman in a subway with a baby. So they're like, ooh, it's a combo meal.
Yeah.
Cute. They go, and then it turns out the baby is a prop that shoots out garlic dust.
Weird.
Okay.
But then they also do silver dust later. They're just just dust.
They're all about the dust. But then later
very
in the movie,
cheap to film dust.
Yeah, and then there's later in the movie a real baby that Dracula kidnaps to threaten to throw off a building. I'm like, sorry, man, you get one baby.
Oh, by the way, it never even remotely feels like there's an actual baby in his hand in that scene. It is.
Oh no, of course not.
Painfully obvious.
Also, quick question: so the Moppet gets kidnapped in this movie after most
my favorite
of the...
character, the Moppet.
Well, Zoe, I think, is the little girl's name.
But she's such
Summerfield's daughter.
Yeah, I
right.
think
What happens to her at the end of the youngest?
Oh, who cares, man?
I guess she gets a. Is she going to be raised by Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds now?
But
no.
The youngest... I'm talking literally. Like, she is rescued, quote unquote, by Jessica Biel in that final action scene. But then we don't see her for the rest of the sequence.
Yeah, she goes.
She just vanishes.
Yeah, she goes and waits outside.
Don't worry, Jessica Biel gives her a great big hug and says, "Go wait in the car."
Okay.
By the way, estimated budget $65 million. Domestic gross $52.
Yeah.
That's.
It did end up making its money back worldwide, but
it
like
did,
just barely.
but just
look,
barely.
I'm not putting this all on your shoulders, there, Gorgone, but you should have seen it at least 7 more times.
Did we? By the way, Gorgone,
they needed your help.
I seem to have. We saw this together, didn't we? I think we went and saw this. I can't remember.
I distinctly remember seeing it in theaters, but I don't know if you were with me at the time.
It seems like one we would have gone to together. I'm sure.
I do not recall.
If there are vampires in it, we probably saw it.
I plead the fifth.
Listman probably went as well. But I do distinctly remember going to an episode a couple episodes down the road here from us, 30 Days of Night.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love 30 Days of Night.
Yeah, that's a good vampire movie.
Based on one of the greatest
God, I love
concepts in vampire literature.
Absolutely. Oh God!
I mean, it's just something that it's where you kick yourself, where you're like,
how did nobody think
thought of that?
I just remember, even just hearing the pitch for it, I'm like, What a cool fucking. Well, Steve Niles, man, is one of my favorite horror writers.
He's good.
He knows what he's doing, man. Very clever.
So Blade gets rescued from the police headquarters by our two new main characters.
Well, specifically by at first we know because Parker Posey is here to go, Hannibal King! Love it.
I mean, you hire a Parky.
I
you
call
hire
her Parky.
a Parker Posey.
I love Parky. She's so good.
I love Parky too. But the thing is,
I do actually
Parker
really
Posey is such a great actor. But the one thing I love about her is she is, I'm going to say, kind of like a female Christopher Walken.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because the acting chops are there, but you also get a personality with quirky ways of speaking.
No, you pay a Parker Posey to bring, to varying degrees within a spectrum.
She's bigger than life, and she will camp. And and because she's so good, it usually is absolutely what you want. So I'm all aboard, and I kind of like that part just because it is like going, we're in comic book land where she's just like going, Hannibal King.
That's the thing. Well, that's kind of the problem with her. It's not that she's bad in this movie. It's just that she is giving a performance from a totally different movie, tonally speaking.
Yes. And also, she's the Alan Rickman in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Sure. Oh, 100%. She is just about to cancel Christmas.
Yes, she has life to her and energy,
and that's
everyone
kind of
else
why
is like,
I do.
You've got Ryan Reynolds also trying.
I think she and Ryan Reynolds, and actually the couple scenes with them, there's some good chemistry there. Because number one, you've got two very gifted comedy actors specifically who know how to bring some banter. And actually,
in this universe, Hannibal King is turned into a vampire by whatever her name, Talos, Danica Talos. So it wasn't Deacon Frost like it was in the comics. Right. And
no,
he
that'd
got
be gay,
cured.
Man. No.
And he got turned back where he got cured by the same cure that Whistler came up with in the first movie.
How long has Whistler been working with the Night Stalkers, by the way? Seems like a long time, and he's just never mentioned
and
it.
He's just like going, I'm going out to get some smokes.
I mean, the idea,
and he's Blade's like, cool.
Yeah.
The way I read it was
just
like, okay, the Night Stalkers are 100% the B team, and they're like cleaning up whatever mess Blade and Whistler are leaving.
I think that's fair.
They're the crew of the Cerritos on lower decks. They make second contact.
Yeah,
100%. Just like, okay, one vampire might have gotten away from this place we burned down. Night Stalkers, could you please take care of that?
Go back and stake whatever's still moving from Blade's last
they do burst into police headquarters to save Blade.
It's a pretty cool shot of the vampire being thrown through the glass of the interrogation room and he's burning as he's falling through it.
That was a pretty good effect shot. Yeah, I liked it.
And I do love Ryan Reynolds, obviously, and he looks great.
Sure.
Yeah, he does.
This whole sequence is pretty good, except for the fact that about like 6 seconds in, after they free Wesley Snipes from the chair, he literally zooms up into the vents and disappears from the sequence.
Yep. The other thing that ruined it to me was the end of it when you just watch something you never see in an action movie. He and Jessica Biel are kicking ass and dusting vamps and take that suckhead, and then at the end of it, you just watch him run down some stairs and out the front door of the building. Yeah, like, boy, that looks so dumb to see people just like casually. It's like, all right, action scene over, time to go home, and you actually watch them go out onto the street. Like, what?
One of the that's not a good inclusion, and it adds nothing.
It adds to the editing problems of this movie.
Something else that doesn't add much is Goyer going, oh man, wait till they see these moody cool shots where it's like, ooh, it's a full moon in a puddle of rain on the. I'm like, stop it, man. I'm a first-time director. You just watch.
Oh, no.
Just watch how cool this is going to be.
This is his second. Didn't you see Zigzag? No.
I'm afraid to admit I've never seen
I don't know Zigzag either, but technically Natasha Lyonne's in it. Okay. So I think he might have just pulled her in. And actually, Wesley Snipes is in it, apparently.
Get out.
I don't know this movie. John Leguizamo.
I need you to leave.
John Leguizamo, Oliver Platt, Natasha Lyonne, and Wesley Snipes. That's a good cast.
Man, I miss Oliver Platt. I just haven't seen him in anything in a while.
But importantly, he shares a writing credit on this film. So he's not the sole writer here.
By the way, Brendan, yet another reason to watch The Bear. Oliver Platt is amazing on it.
Is he?
He's so good on
in
there.
The Bear?
He's
All right,
in
I'll
it.
watch The Bear now.
He's
Thank you.
really good in it.
Besides the fact that everyone telling me it's the second coming of television, I guess I should
it's
watch
the
it.
best show on TV. It's amazing. All right. So so they bring him back to Night Stalker HQ. And then, here's as you talk about Gorgone, they're only going to be in it for a second before they die. That's a problem, because they make a whole point of setting up the cast for this spin-off show for them to not matter at all. But we have to do a whole scene of, that's Somerset, that's this person, here's their thing, which, by the way, if you're going to set up a spin-off, why are you killing all the characters of the spin-off?
I know.
Summerfield, Hedges, Dex, these are the Night Stalkers.
And don't worry, they'll all get like 3 lines before they're horribly killed. Only Somerset will it be like, because I do love, like, Jessica Biel finds dead Patton Oswalt and the other guy, and she's like, and then it's, oh no, but then when Natasha Lyonne's dead, that's like, no, you were the most important member. Everyone else.
Considering we don't actually see them sharing any kind of scene before that moment, really makes it ring hollow.
Yeah, good
I
Lord.
found it touching. Shut up.
Yeah. Well, what I really found, actually, what I kept thinking about in that scene is how long Natasha Lyonne had to be on set as a dead body that Jessica Biel was like cradling.
It's like, I'll just do this.
Yeah.
And
have this
I'll say this, as a corpse,
yeah,
she was fully willing to open her eyes, unlike Wesley Snipes.
She was, yeah. I mean, but
Wesley Snipes was not going to open his eyes on that morgue table. They had to digitally put those eyes in.
Wesley Snipes, I mean, you brought it up. The FBI building escape is the ultimate example of him going like, I'm going to leave this movie now.
Yeah.
You all have fun with your action scene. I'm gone.
I'm due back in my trailer because I hear that sweet leaf a calling.
Yeah, and look, every single scene in the Night Stalkers HQ, you can really tell that Wesley Snipes is not on set with the rest of these people, because there's never a 2-shot of him interacting with anybody else.
Or the only thing, there may be an over the shoulder where it's his stunt, once again, his body double of just the shoulders. But anytime it cuts to Blade talking, it's a tight single of him.
Tight single. Yeah. No one else is there.
Yeah. And also, I gotta say though, like, all the Night Stalkers do is like bag on Blade, which I'm coming to see Blade Trinity. Am I supposed to like these people who are like, yeah, whatever, Blade, you're kind of lame, man?
And meanwhile, Blade is legitimately telling them all, like, y'all are fucking children. Get out of here. This is my show.
Well, there's a disconnect that has a lot to do with the fact that he's not really filming with them. But there's also a disconnect where the writers decided that, and this is classic, our heroes will meet and they won't like each other. But usually the whole point is, by the end, whether or not they're best friends, they are now a unit. In this thing, no. In this thing, Blade tells them they don't know shit. They're kids. They shouldn't be involved. I don't care that Whistler's your dad or whatever. Shut up.
The movie never really indicates anything to me that makes me think he's wrong.
Yeah,
they're all gonna die, pretty much.
But on the flip side, you have genuine efforts and they are the kind of personality clash you expect. The flip guy who's like, how do I know so much about vampires? Well, I was one, yo.
With my sexy vampire tattoo. Check that shit out. I'm gonna pull my pants down.
Yeah. And the whole thing of that, where it's like, okay, and you have Abby trying to like go, yeah, man, you're like a hero to me and all this, but he's never going to give back. At no point does he warm up. In fact, there's that scene where
Brendan,
Ryan
he
Reynolds...
shouts "use it" at her a lot.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Goyer thought that scene ruled though, didn't he?
He did. Now here's the thing. I so want to have had a commercial tie-in to something like an oven cleaner or like a Glade plug-in, and it's just Blade going, use it. But yeah,
that scene is so bad because it's just so awkward that he just keeps saying it. I'm like, what? Yeah. What? He's gonna say, use it.
He's telling Abby when she finds, Summerfield is dead, and then he's like going, and she's crying, and he's like going, what you're feeling, use it. That's enough.
That should have been the end of the scene.
But then it's like, use it.
Yeah.
Use it.
And then I wanted to
use it.
I wanted to be like, hold on, you're not using it yet.
Yeah, like the next
reason...
action sequence, he turns on and goes, "Are you using? You're not using it."
Hey, actually, what there should have been is a scene where she's losing a fight. He goes, "Hey, remember they killed your friend."
Yeah, that's right.
It.
You may have forgotten about Summerfield, but I haven't.
To be fair, that was the most acting that Wesley Snipes had done in the whole shoot of this film, so they decided to use all of it.
Except for Coochie Coo.
That and Coochie Coo.
Those are the two things where he showed up.
Yeah.
Whistler, his father figure dies, and we don't.
Well,
I mean, obviously he flexes his jaw, but
some
we
of
really
that
don't
is
see
his
him.
acting, and some of that it's a combination of his acting and the script doesn't care that Whistler died either. Like it's so just like, well, the beloved mentor figure of this franchise has sacrificed himself, but whatever. Here's his hot daughter.
Like when he wakes up in the police thing after they go, he goes Whistler, and they go, he's dead, and he's like,
that's too bad.
There should be a whole plot line here about like Abigail resenting Blade for having Whistler as the father she didn't get to have.
That's basic writing construction.
You're exactly right, because there is absolutely no reason this character needs to be Whistler's daughter. Except for to just baseline explain why Whistler would have any connection to the Night Stalkers.
I would have made her Rachel Van Helsing from Tomb of Dracula.
Sure, yeah. I mean, literally, it's just Jessica Biel doing Hawkeye cosplay. But
again, I do respect the fact that she bulked up to some degree. She looks great as a superhero.
She was really,
I really like. We'll talk about the tech because we're at that scene. But come on, man, the UV cutter thing.
I hate that thing so much.
I love it.
I like it in concept. Once again, the CGI, especially when it deploys, is horrible.
Oh yeah,
it has no weight to it. It feels like just they didn't know what it looked like when they were just holding something random on set.
But I was gonna say this
is a UV batleth.
Yeah,
and I like that.
Yeah, I actually once again, this was very much the beginning of. When you talk about like Reynolds was trying to turn himself into an action hero, so was she. She does a couple of oh boy, and I think what really hurt her chance of being an action hero. You remember Stealth was the movie she made after this.
Oh God, the intelligent stealth plane, the AI stealth plane.
Holy God, that's a horrible movie.
Do you mean horrible as in awesome?
And she found her way into the A-Team movie, which she's not good in. The Total Recall remake that we talked about last time, the Len Wiseman. Yeah. She snuck into that too. Look, I'm on the record. I do not like.
I
Jessica
know
Biel
you
as an
despise
actress.
her, but I will still say the best thing I've seen her do is
actress.
Candy, that miniseries.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to that. But one of the reasons I didn't watch it is I think she's a really terrible actress.
I know. You avoided it for that reason.
She looks great, sure, whatever. But she put in the work, and they talked about. I do think it's interesting. They go, well, she really trained so extensively with the archery, and you're like. But it's all like, I mean, sure, yeah, but it's like, I don't know. The archery is just sort of tossed in like anything else. I don't know. They didn't use it enough. They didn't use it.
Use it. That whole thing of
especially because they
I can't shoot around corners. I can.
Yeah, but then I don't. Then she doesn't really. It's not very cool what she does.
No. Yeah, and especially when like. The big moment where it's like, okay, she needs to shoot an arrow full of the virus into Dracula to like engage the virus, and Blade's the one who ends up doing it.
Well, yeah, because you want Blade to be the one to kill Dracula, but then don't set that up that it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
Yep.
It's all just it's all construction. It's all structural problems in this movie. Across the board. So we meet the Night Stalkers. They're completely unimportant. One is Patton Oswalt, who is given nothing at all. It's what's the point of him being here?
He's the nerd.
He's
like, I have created this.
He's the part any of us would have been cast as. We know
he gets the begrudging, Blade going like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that thing you made. Yeah, that's all right.
Whatever. Also, you get the horrible line when he's like, "Sir," and he looks at Jessica Biel, "Hottie."
Dear. And he as a smart. person
That's
because
a good,
he's highly intelligent,
a good writer, and
a good actor he became.
Really good actor, yeah.
But you got to know that he's sitting there going, "Do I really have to call her a hottie?"
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm the nerd, and then they make a virginity joke. Like, I have one question: have you ever been laid? And you're like, Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if that was one of your improvs or if that was in the script, but I bet that was in the script because Patton Oswalt then goes, "Yes, several times, and with ladies."
Yeah, look, rampant misogyny and latent homophobia are still alive and well in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally defeated those.
Are like
they never pop up.
Those are like that's like the subtext of almost every joke in any movie from this era. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. yes.
It's just like, oh man. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
and if you're a techie, you read comics and have never been laid.
So they've got, of course, yeah. Patton Oswalt definitely isn't married to a gorgeous woman in real life. But so yeah, so they go there, they meet the team, they look at all the stuff that he's built, including man, and then but the weapons are cool, but they don't really get implemented that much. They have the cool like tri-barrel shotgun that can shoot different stuff, and like it gets used, but once again not spotlighted. Goyer doesn't know. He knows how to do posing, but he doesn't really know how to like make any person or prop or anything have like impact. It's all just sort of like, it's all just here. Every shot is very, once again, it's not horrible, but it's all just like, well, there's a medium shot and there's a thing, and now he's going to slow the camera down, but for no real thematic reason.
Yeah.
This movie's bad, you guys.
Yeah. No, and that's why like this middle stretch of the movie feels pretty dry, because it's a lot of going to a place, coming back from a place, going to a scene that doesn't have any connection to any of the other characters. There's the whole Dracula visiting the Dracula store bit. There's the whole them going to beat up some...
Brendan, did you love when they handed Blade a Tomb of Dracula comic?
Yeah, because again, one thing I really love is when a movie based on an IP will meta-textually refer to the IP so someone can diss it.
Yep. That's fucking
Because
stupid.
it's like, what are we up against? And they show him a Tomb of Dracula comic. And he's like, fuck that shit. Tosses it aside. And I'm like, man.
What were you expecting? Yellow spandex?
No, it's I think the movie that does use the IP in the IP really well is Logan, where they use it as there were comics written about that. That's very smart. You know what I was shocked is that he didn't open it up, see comic book Blade, and go, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, who the fuck? That's you. Oh, shit, no.
Yeah. Look at this shit, man. Hey, nerds out there, you like this shit? Like, it really does. What the fuck, man?
You want me to wear ski goggles? Fuck.
But once again, it's Goyer, I'm sure, going like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to get like a little applause break when people see the Tomb of Dracula comic. It also doesn't.
I don't think there was an applause break anywhere in this film.
We're still deep in the like rooted cynicism of the 90s at this point.
Yeah.
And we're not going to shake that for like 10 more years after this film.
Yeah, because still to this day, we bring this up all the time. John's heard me say the same words over and over again because one of my big arguments is we're still getting a lot of comic book films that are embarrassed to be comic book films.
That's starting.
And I think that's
starting to get eaten away at this point.
It's starting to,
because like Raimi's Spider-Man has come out now. Hellboy is also out the same year, which is not a superhero thing per se, but is certainly a much better comic book supernatural movie than this.
Yeah,
and the next year, Goyer will write Batman Begins, which isn't a weird like. Batman Begins actually is the least weirdly the first one I feel like is the least ashamed to be a comic book movie.
Yeah, except for no mentions of Lazarus Pits. Come on, man, don't go down that rabbit hole.
That's that doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. But yeah, we're 4 years out from Iron Man, which is a huge turning point, obviously. Yeah, comic books are in a weird place where like they haven't yet fully decided. But Blade is still also this is a sequel to one though that was before any of that, so we're still carrying I think some of that, as you're saying, Gorgone, late 90s mentality, because that's where this franchise started. So it's still kind of born from like even a comic book fan like Goyer has to acknowledge that comic books are kind of dumb in his movie. Yeah. So they talk about Dracula. He was the first of his kind. He was born perfect. They talk about the vampire final solution, which once again actually doesn't play into the plot at all. They just find that warehouse and then Blade destroys it. It's never mentioned again.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's like, oh, well, is that the one and only? Well, I'm glad they took care of it.
I think that gets to the thing about Ebert's thing. Like, well, it
Yeah,
seems like really just
all
these Canadian
vampires in this one
vampires.
city.
This one Canadian town. But Dracula's walking the streets. He finds the shop full of vampire stuff. Once again, kind of an interesting idea of, as you're talking about, you even had a similar idea there, Brandon, of like, how would Dracula react to his pop cultureification? In this, he just kills the two people who work there. So great.
Yep.
What a great scene.
But also, they had to. Goyer is hacky. Like, his idea is that it's Dracula being like, oh, look at this stuff. But he still has to be weirdly provoked by, like, the guy at the shop who's friendly for half a second. And then Dracula's like, really? This is what you have? And then he's looking at the guy, the goth dude, and the goth guy's like, hey, you got a problem with all this?
No,
mister?
it's he's got to be homophobic when he goes, "What do you want to kiss me?"
Yeah, what is it? You want to kiss me?
By the way, little tiny goth guy is making homophobic comments to Dominic Purcell.
Even before Dominic Purcell got like as Heatwave, in Flash, he's gotten even bulkier.
Oh yeah.
But the guy always had this bull neck. Exactly what he's saying. Like, he's a dude you wouldn't fuck with, even though he's wearing knockoff and this Jim Morrison in the Doors leather pants and shirt. He's got the big open white flouncy shirt.
I was really surprised when he was like, "Come on, baby, light my fire."
It is exactly something that Val Kilmer said. Yeah, you can borrow this.
He's got to show off that big glyph on his chest.
Yeah,
and his cool necklaces. Yeah.
So at the same,
one of my favorite shots in this film is Michael Higgins dressed as Dracula when he's shapeshifted.
Yes.
Later.
That is same. I love John Michael Higgins pretending to be Dracula, pretending to be John Michael Higgins in the Dracula. One of the things I love is. Because, let's talk about this idea. Once again, it's like, can he shapeshift? Well, not into a bat or a wolf or shit like that or mist. Yeah. That's fucking dumb.
Daddy's nonsense.
But you can totally shapeshift into other people. That makes way more sense. What?
They have one of those awkward scenes, which I get, and I'll have to do it with the script I'm working on now. But there are always scenes where someone has to lay out the rules. Yep. Someone says, well, I don't think he can turn into mist or anything. Yeah, I don't think so either. What do you think about bat or wolf? Well, they can shapeshift a little, but not into another animal.
But what I love is, for a guy who can shapeshift, he never changes his clothes when he's walking around as Chris Christopherson later. Chris Christopherson's dressed up in the stupid Dracula outfit, too.
Also, how did they figure out he can shapeshift?
Oh, they there's a one-off dropped line about like, well, based on the skeletal structure, as far as we understand it, it can morph and change. We also see it later. Oh, one of the stupidest pieces of CGI in the movie when the girl's hiding in the vent and his fingers start stretching.
Yeah.
Hey man, he pulls a Radu. He's getting in on Radu territory.
He pulled a Radu.
Yeah, he's stealing Radu's game, man.
It was Dracula fingies.
Yeah, hold on, wait a minute. I have the long fingies. That's my thing, Dracula.
My God. Oh,
no,
we still have one movie to watch.
How would they know about his bone structure?
That's neither here nor there.
I think that Patton Oswalt's character speculates when they're talking about how do you think he's able to do these things. He goes, well, I think he doesn't have like a human skeletal structure. It's more like a snake's with
but they haven't encountered
little bones.
They
haven't encountered Dracula yet. How do they know any of this?
Yeah, it's pure speculation.
You are asking so much from this movie.
I am asking for logic and whatever. That's I guess at a certain point that's on me.
There is only like one more big logical inconsistency in this film.
Oh, really?
One more?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah,
how the vampires know about the virus at the end of the movie and why they're interrogating Hannibal King, it doesn't make any sense. But
whatever. There's the way Goyer thinks he's explaining that is this at Parker Posey go, we hear Blade's working on a super weapon.
Yep.
From who?
Well,
That's word on the street. That's the scuttlebutt. I'll tell you that.
That's what the script said.
Yeah,
it's
right here.
Didn't you read it? It's right here.
Page
It's
37.
74.
Yeah, there you go, right there. Super weapon.
Keep up with the movie. Come on.
No, that I did also like that too, where it's just like, oh, we've heard that. That's just any chance you want to confirm those rumors? Yes, because while they're showing off the weapons, Natasha Lyonne is talking about like, well, I'm close to being able to create a vampire bioweapon that will kill all the vampires, but the last ingredient we need is Dracula's blood. Once again, why does she know that's what's needed? I don't know.
I mean, they actually do explain that idea. The idea that like they need a pure strain of vampire, and since he's the first vampire, it would affect all vampires.
Wait a minute, but there's other pure blood vampires. It has to be Dracula
because he was the first.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, so this only works. Thank God she was so close to this cure, and so thank God the original vampire has been awoken right at the same time she's making the cure that can only work with his blood. Boy, that's lucky.
Also, cure is not the right word.
Well, they go back and forth because they talk about the cure, and then they also talk about it being a bioweapon. And I know they're two separate things, but the movie
the cure is what's used on Ryan Reynolds and Chris Christopherson. That's one thing.
No. The Cure is a very famous band that did a lot of very mopey pop in the 80s.
Brendan, we
most
all
famous vampire of all, Morrissey. Yeah.
Well, that's the Smiths, but that's all right.
Yeah,
whatever.
You're thinking of Robert Smith.
Robert Smith.
I understand. Robert Smith.
Robert Smith, the Smiths. Yeah. Oh, God Lord.
Yeah, you got to mix up.
Yeah, well, because Gorgone's he loves 80s new wave alternative music.
No, what I love is the soundtrack of this film when they give me the Crystal Method every other soundtrack.
Yeah. This I was watching this last night going, this is 100% a Mike Gorgone soundtrack.
I actually said this at some point while I was watching it. I was like, this movie is lit, and it's the first time I've ever used that term.
Boy, you also, it's very 2004 and very lit when you have the RZA doing the score to this thing, too.
You've got the RZA, and you've got a song at the end that's all about the blood and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's actually a very early work of Ramin Djawadi, who would go on to do like Game of Thrones and stuff.
Yeah. And also his Pacific Rim score fucking rules.
Totally, yeah.
So he'll go and work with the other better Blade director after this.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
speaking of music, the incredibly lame Jessica Biel makes playlists for fighting vampires.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
and also
it's such a missed opportunity to have like diegetic music, and they totally don't even use it.
Yep.
Well, also it's just dumb though, and including the before the final fight when he does the slow motion of her putting the earbuds in.
Yeah,
dude, that was lame in 2004.
John, there's a little bit of that in the script I'm working on.
Well,
but I'm doing it on purpose to have something totally
No, I mean we're
typical.
I'm helping you with that script. I have some idea of why you're doing that, but
okay, good.
But still, it's just like this. And also the fact that he goes, she likes to listen to MP3s. Well, the fact that he doesn't. There's still
he
songs.
has to say MP3s.
Yeah, it's like no. Let's make a point of dating this.
There was a very keen bit of the budget that was probably supplied by iPod for this movie.
Well, because there is the point where you actually see her iTunes and it says uploading to Abby's iPod. Like, it's like, for the love of God. Man, like I said, I probably rolled my eyes in 2004. That's what I'm saying. Like, even then, just the presentation of this was lame. Even if this was the current technology. Oh, man. That's the thing is the Night Stalkers, they so try to make them cool that they end up coming off lame to me. That's sort of the thing about it. It's like they're trying way too hard with their whole vibe.
Yep.
Well, because as opposed to being a supporting cast in a Blade movie, what they're trying to do is get out of here, old man. Yeah. We're the new protagonists now.
It's like actually
they're trying to stylize everything and make it so hip and cool, which of course always backfires by dating something horribly.
Yeah. And it is, but like I said, even just comparing it to Underworld, which is still very of its time, but still feels like it has more of at least like some kind of cultivated identity to it. Even if it still feels kind of dated, it's at least being like sincere in a way. This movie feels very, once again, studio note calculated of here's what the kids like. Kids, you like MP3s, right?
And Goyer is still going, and of course his career continues. But the thing that drives me nuts is the way this particular part, as in the modern version, these Night Stalkers, it reads, when you listen to the dialogue, and it reads like those old Teen Titans comics from the 60s, where you had Bob Haney, who was already in his late 40s, early 50s, writing hip teen dialogue. And it's painful. This is cringy in the same way. David Goyer was probably in his 30s when he's writing this, and he's not in touch, man. He's not in touch.
No, and it's just, and so that creates that disconnect when you're watching young hotties saying stuff where you're like, they wouldn't say that. And then the other thing is, it then makes it stand out when Ryan Reynolds is improvising, because you're like, that doesn't sound like any of the dialogue in the rest of the movie. That's probably a Reynolds improv.
Yeah. He is funny in this movie.
He is funny, but
this movie is not
pointless at the same time.
There's nowhere to fit it. Yeah.
All right.
Tonally dissonant.
Yep.
So they go. They go fight Dracula. That's where we have the baby. It's a foot chase. It's boring.
Yep.
I would say the only thing I like about the foot chase is the fact that Dracula is just bursting through walls like the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, I like it better.
Sadly, he's not going, oh yeah.
I like it better when James Bond does it in Casino Royale shortly after this.
Sure.
But like the idea that the whole idea is that we're just seeing this apartment building and these two supernatural, but they're mostly just running at normal human speed. That's kind of what got me. It's like, oh, it's Blade versus Dracula, and they're just running up a flight of stairs. Great.
Well, the Blade movies have been wildly inconsistent about how strong any given vampire is.
Yep.
I mean, but they do a couple of things here, but they're lame versions of, like, you get some better superhero leaps from Blade in the other movies and stuff like that. Here they're just kind of, but also especially inconsistent with like vampire day to day. But if it's Dracula, man, I want to see Dracula doing shit none of the other vampires are doing. Like, I don't know.
Too.
I mean, they do. One of the things I did like, and I'm sure you did as well, Brendan, is a very light thing is, wait, how can Dracula be here? It's sunlight. Oh, Dracula can exist in the sun, which is going back to the Stoker novel.
Yep. Sure. Yeah, for Dracula, it's just a minor annoyance. It's not the absolute nemesis.
I liked that.
Me too.
That is and this is where he does mention, oh, you've read Stoker's Fable. And once again, how does he know about that if he's been buried for 2,000 years?
Oh,
and how did Stoker
question.
know about him? Even better question.
That's what I was about to say. Better question is, how could he have been involved in anything in London in 1889?
I feel like the implication here is that, like, the Dracula we know as a pop culture creature is just a name that they're assigning to this ancient Sumerian death god guy.
Sure, let's go with that.
Sure, but then that's lame.
Then if he has been in a tomb for 2,000 years and was Dagon, the god, and all that stuff, then again we come back to, how is he speaking English?
Yeah.
Well,
because at least the one in Stoker's novel, there's a reason he knows English.
Dagon also is just like such a weird Sumerian god to assign to Dracula. There are better Sumerian gods. I'm just gonna go out there and say that.
All right. Okay. Sometimes I say there are Brendan Jones notes. That's a Mike Gorgone nitpick.
That is a very
that is a pure Gorgone nitpick right there. Because I'm like, what?
Also, isn't Dagon considered a fish god?
He has been depicted as that, but mostly he is the god of like fathers and like royalty and like prosperity.
Well, great.
King of the Vampires? I don't know.
All of that says Dracula to me.
Once again, that just adds to just how lazy Goyer's script is. He just picked. I think honestly, just because it was a D. I think just because it was a D name. I really do think it was Dagon Dracula. I think
cracked his code. No, his code is lazy writer code.
Yeah, that's just a bummer because once again, we talk about Goyer has the career any of it. He clearly loves all the same shit we do and gets to adapt most of it. And most of the time, it comes out well, usually because he has smarter partners like Christopher Nolan or Guillermo del Toro.
I gotta say, when I say hacky, that doesn't mean unsuccessful. Yeah. He's hacky, but he's lucky as fuck.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say.
We were just talking about. I don't think we were recording yet when Gorgone brought up Da Vinci's Demons, but like, the couple of shows he showrun are pretty shitty. Krypton on Sci-Fi Channel, that was him.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Superman's hunky grandfather. You don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about Adam Strange being turned into essentially Rip Hunter. Should have been Rip Hunter instead of.
But Rip
Adam
Hunter was
Strange.
already being used over in the CW. I love stuff like that. We're like, oh, we'll just kind of make it Adam Strange then.
I have enjoyed the Foundation show on Disney Plus, but he is not the sole showrunner on that.
Well, no,
so.
that's like a lot of. It's the same thing as the Sandman. Yeah, I mean, like he gets involved in a lot of good stuff, and probably can contribute good ideas. I'm not saying he's incompetent or anything, but I think he is a guy who probably works better in a room of other people, and maybe can come up with some stuff here and there, you know. But clearly on his own, I haven't watched Foundation. I keep hearing it's good. I need to check it out. But so anyway, we get Ryan Reynolds gets stabbed by Dracula during this encounter, so he's recuperating back in Night Stalker HQ. We get Jessica Biel showering blood off and like being like horrified, I guess, because of once again this whole idea about like, and you have Ryan Reynolds going like, we can't beat that guy. It's like, aside from walking in daylight and shape-shifting, he didn't really exert how powerful he was, particularly in that scene, for this to have the effect Goyer wants of it being like, holy shit, we just saw the devil.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the way Ryan Reynolds is doing that is clearly this movie's game over, man.
Very much so.
Where someone has lost faith, and that should be transmitted to the audience. Like, how are they going to defeat
this
that
moody
demon?
shot of Jessica Biel having blood washed off her in the shower, and she's like cradled up and like, oh my God, what have I seen? What are we up against? And you're just like,
Well, it was also a chance to get Jessica Biel in a shower.
100%. I mean, I'll put this on the
That's
movie.
what that more reads as than anything else.
Oh, absolutely. And I felt bad for her. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
I know she's launching herself into film.
Well,
but you sit there going like, oh, she deserved better than that.
Sure. And she got stealth.
And she got stealth.
A movie where also there's some gratuitous, there's like a needless bikini sequence in that too.
Oh, I think they actually played that up in the trailers and stuff. Like,
we're
hey, if you don't give a shit about that plane, look at her in a bikini.
I just love the idea of we're all fighter pilots, but hey, let's go to the pool for a scene for no reason.
Yeah.
I will say, well, not in defense, but just in like, the movie does play it both ways. Reynolds is equally objectified in this film. It is definitely a sense of, look at these hotties, even though, as we've talked about, like Wesley, they're acting like Wesley's 75 in this movie. You know, it's like old man. You're like, he's fucking fit and still very much an action hero. I don't understand this idea of it's like, kids don't want to see this fucking old dude. What's he, like 40 here? I mean, like, he can't be that old.
I honestly feel that in order to try, I mean, it's obvious, in order to promote this spinoff and these new characters, it's weirdly they're decided that we have to take our lead down a bit in order to boost them. And you're like, no, why can't they all be badasses in their own way and have them work together as equals instead of having to be, I mean, just like you're saying with the old man, you almost expected Blade to go, what's an MP3?
Yeah. Well, and actually, one of the scenes I wrote down here that we didn't talk was when he's showing off all the weapons and he's talking about, and Blade is kind of like, whatever, to like the pistol that Hannibal King uses. Yeah. And Hannibal King goes, well, I guess it doesn't have the range of a sword. I'm like, dude, the sword is fucking cool. Why are you mocking the sword? It's the iconic weapon of this franchise. That doesn't make me
Blade
like
mocking their weapons when he just at the beginning of this movie commented on how cool his new like whip dagger is.
Yeah, and also
these are the right questions. Blade and the questions that maybe the guy who wrote this movie should have thought about.
Blade uses handguns too. They're just a different shape than that one. Like that scene is so dumb. It's creating tension out of nowhere. By the way, I was looking here as I always do in the under like descriptions of deleted scenes. There was a scene, because Goyer is such a fucking hack, where apparently they did have this Dracula talk about being present at the crucifixion of Christ.
That's in the unrated cut that I watched.
Oh, okay, there you go. And then also that there's
that's a cut scene in which he is getting down with Parker Posey.
Yeah, I was gonna say they also cut out like a sex scene between those two, which just I don't know.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the cutting out of it.
Yeah,
I'm very okay.
Why?
It serves no purpose.
Yeah. No. Thank God it's in the unrated extended cut, which of course is what you watched, Gorgone.
Yes.
I had to get back to Goyer's true
I will say,
vision.
There is a line he has in that scene that I actually like, where he is telling Parker Posey to take this cross off, and she's like, "Why? Does it offend you?" And he's just like, "I was there at his crucifixion. I'll make you a better cross." I just like that. It was a good delivery.
Sure, sure. But one of the weirdest notes, Ryan Reynolds. What I don't even understand what the deal with this is. Ryan Reynolds is recuperating, shirtless, of course. Got to put bums in seats. I mean, Ryan Reynolds looks amazing, of course. He looks amazing. He got in crazy shape.
Even
for
his
this.
weirdly shaved facial hair, which is like, he's a comic book character. Sure, he should have some weird facial hair.
He's the announcer from the Hunger Games.
Wes Bentley.
Wes Bentley.
Yeah. He's watching William Shatner's Esperanto movie.
Yeah.
What is that
Incubus.
about? What is that? Why?
It's in the Wikipedia.
Is it? Oh, I didn't read that. I looked at
in the Wikipedia. Essentially, according to this, Goyer wanting this to be a comic book city, which is why it's not named. It's also an easy out.
I was gonna say that's a nice,
He decided that in this fictional world city, one of the languages, because it's multilingual.
Oh boy,
that would be Esperanto. So there are signs and billboards in this movie too, that are in Esperanto. And then, as a wink, he decided to have Hannibal King watching Incubus, which is the infamous William Shatner all Esperanto movie that is not good, and no one speaks Esperanto anymore. And I'm like, Goyer, that's where your creativity went. This is going to blow their mind.
To something
they're going to be Esperanto.
Something
signs.
Literally no one would ever notice. And in fact, because I know what that movie is, made me confused, because I think most people would read that as, why is he watching an old Star Trek episode in a foreign language? But it's just like, only because you read the Wikipedia do you know that. That's so stupid and pointless.
Yep.
So for our listeners who might not know, because I don't think this is maybe a widely known fact, what Esperanto is.
Look it up.
Yeah, basically, what was it? It was the attempt to create like a universal language.
Yes, in like the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah.
Shatner.
Some linguists created a language that he believed could take over the whole world, so we all spoke the same language, and the world went, thanks.
Because attempting to implement that would be a fucking nightmare.
Sure.
Jesus Christ. But Shatner always...
we couldn't even adapt the,
Shatner was one of many high-level celebrities who were trying to promote Esperanto
and he was
in like the 50s and 60s.
And he
couldn't
get
the metric system going.
Right, yeah.
So
let's cool it on a whole new worldwide language before. But it is, and he brings it up all the time, though. I've seen him talk about it a lot, where he goes like, yes, I was in an amazing film achievement. It was the only film ever made entirely in Esperanto.
Yep.
And he's very proud of the fact that he did that. All right, so let's get through this here. Here's some lazy track lane. Natasha Lyonne has been tracking purchases made by vampires, which leads them to the warehouse where they're farming people. And this is an interesting idea that, once again, could have been the crux of a whole movie and is just a tossed away idea in this.
Well, it's a scene. It's a scene that exists only so that Blade and Abigail aren't at the headquarters when Dracula shows up and kills everybody.
Yep, that's it exactly. And it's an idea he recycled of something that got cut out of the first movie. And he goes, "Oh, great! I'll put that here. Perfect." But it's actually one of Goyer's really interesting ideas, and he's not realizing this. Like, well, that should be like the climax of the movie. It should be about this. The whole idea is they're taking people off the streets, transients. Homeless people, drifters, and things like that no one will miss, and they're basically keeping them alive, but their brain it's very Matrixy too, right? Like,
they're literally hanging. This reminds me of the 70s film Coma, because that had the idea of body farming, and all the bodies are suspended from the ceiling. So visually, this is similar, where they're literally in sealed plastic bags as if they were action figures.
It's actually one of the most interesting visuals in the movie.
It is. And just like you said, this idea alone is clever. And this idea alone could have been the central plot.
Absolutely.
And instead, it's something they come in, they fix, they leave.
It was probably something in that post-apocalyptic movie too, where since they had taken over, this was how they were getting blood. I'm sure that was a big part of that. By the way, I want to see that.
I feel like we have a very similar like imagery in Daybreakers, don't we?
Oh, well, Daybreakers kind of does what that plot of that which will that's way down the line here this season, but we'll get to that. I love Daybreakers. That's a cool
Daybreakers is rad. But this scene does have my favorite Blade line in the whole movie. So I don't want to skip over it too much.
Sure.
Which
is
please.
Other than
so
Kuchiku.
They get other than Kuchiku.
Yeah.
But they find the police chief here for random reasons. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, because he's meeting with one of the vampires, and they show up and like, oh, what are you up to, chief of police? Gotcha.
Yeah. But
Great.
The chief of police has this line where it's like, I can't tell you what's going on. They'll kill me. And Blade goes, kill you, motherfucker. I'll kill you.
I also like that because it's another, it's similar to the Kuchiku. It's one of the only times I'm like, oh, that sounds like a line from a Wesley Snipes movie. Motherfucker, I'll kill you.
There are just moments in this movie, and sadly, just moments where he wakes up.
And you're
go,
like, oh, right.
Oh, you are Wesley Snipes,
That's
man.
That's why people wanted to watch you in movies, because you can sell a line like, motherfucker, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Ugh, I love Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
So glad he's back now.
He's doing some of his best stuff.
He's
and
doing
it's really
good work. He's doing really solid work. Because the secret always was like, oh, I guess how much of a secret, but it was always like he was famous for doing all this action stuff. He's just a really solid actor. And once again, where we like Kuchiku and motherfucker, I'll kill you, a good comedic actor. It's you would think having him and Ryan Reynolds, that could lead to some real good banter between the two of them, except they were never on set together, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, was it Reynolds had that quote in the press where he goes, I never worked with Wesley Snipes. I only worked with Blade.
Yeah.
Well, because there's also a lot of stories about how Wesley Snipes was, and who knows how true this is, incredibly method during this film.
Well, there was definitely...
Though it sounds like he was doing that as like a defense mechanism against like Goyer being shitty to him.
Exactly.
Could be a defense mechanism, and it could also have been a thing where he's maybe feeling a little... defensive about being shoved out of his own movie.
I think 100%. How could you not?
In the script, his character is not supposed to get along with them. So he's like, great. So I will not get along with them.
Right.
I will make their life on set uncomfortable because Blade is the same way with them.
Sure.
So that's a possibility.
I mean, and the other thing is, and as people have brought up, is the New Line was very quick to leak all this information too. And Snipes also sued them. I don't know if you guys saw this as well, because they didn't pay him. They way underpaid him and didn't pay out his full contract. And then they really went to task going, well, he's a psychopath. Don't you know that? Then there was a whole smear campaign in the press. And he I've seen him talk about that in more recent interviews, where he was like, my agents and lawyers and stuff are like, don't sue for that money they owe you. That's going to blacklist you. And he's like, but they owe me the money. And they're just like, yeah, but you do that, no studio will hire you. And that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened for like 10 years.
Yeah, he did get, before any of because this is before, the tax stuff is a few years after this. People think the tax stuff is what like ended the career from the studio standpoint. But no, it was really that he was like, hey, you guys fucked me over. And also, as you're talking about, he had to feel some level of uncomfort about being replaced, because it's egregious, as we've been talking about. It is so clear they want to push him out of this franchise that was a real passion project for him, as we've talked about from the beginning. He was really invested in this character in these movies.
The only character he wanted to be more is Black Panther.
He really wanted to be Black Panther. And he also really made a run at being Shaft in the John Singleton movie.
Yeah,
that was
man.
I know he was really pissed that didn't work out.
That's a Sophie's choice.
I know Samuel L. Jackson is great, but Wesley would have been fantastic as well.
He would have been, yeah.
And I think that was a thing that came down to the studio too, because I think Singleton leaned towards Snipes, but they were like, no, Samuel L. Jackson will sell more tickets. He's really good in that though, so I don't know. All right, so
there's not much left in this movie. Honestly, they get back to the HQ.
Whistler,
all the Night Stalkers are dead.
Yeah, the Night Stalkers are killed because Dracula shows up as Whistler, which is such a weird choice. Because even when Ryan Reynolds wakes up and sees him, he's like, "Aren't you dead?" And then
it's like
even funnier because both
be better if you're being someone that
He's
is
just
alive.
come back as Jessica Biel or Blade, right? Like,
right, exactly.
But both. First off, Dracula has never met Whistler. Second off,
that's a good point too.
Both of the characters who would have been affected by the presence of Whistler aren't there.
That's true. It's Hannibal King, who we only know met Whistler, but there were no scenes with them together, or they're never,
right.
They have no relationship in particular that we've noticed.
Jeez,
yeah.
man.
It's the same thing as her Jessica Biel being destroyed by the death of Natasha Lyonne, who I don't even know if they speak to each other, maybe briefly, but they don't do enough to establish that at all. And I do love that they kill off. Oh, by the way, Patton Oswalt playing basketball is pretty fucking funny too.
Yeah, and he's playing with what's the guy? Is it Dex? Is the one guy who maybe has 3 words?
Oh
in this
man,
movie?
it's just like
I felt bad for this guy.
Yeah, Dex. Yeah, man.
And the
only
only other black guy in this movie.
Wilson Selmore is the actor who played Dex.
Please tell me he went on to other things.
He has continued to work, but not in much.
He was in Chronicles of Riddick as Slam Guard.
Yeah, I was getting. Yes. Yes.
Oh, he was excellent as Slam Guard.
Yeah, that's I mean, yes, he was in that, and I think that.
And he was most recently in the canceled Batwoman show as Trafficker.
Yeah. Okay,
okay. Well, all right.
Yeah.
God bless.
That show was not good. I'm sorry, guys.
God bless.
No, there's one other black guy, the police chief.
That's true.
The crooked police chief.
Yeah, that's okay.
I did kind of like that moment too when he tells the police chief to run away. He's like, "I'll give you 20 seconds." The guy starts running, and he turns around and goes 20 and shoots him. That's like that's a stock action beat. But boy, I'm looking for anything here.
You are looking for anything.
Yeah. So they get. By the way, they die off screen, Patton Oswalt and Dex, because who could even give a shit? They're playing basketball and the lights go out, and then later Jessica Biel will find their bodies. But we're really focusing on Summerfield and her daughter, because her daughter knows the lights went out, but Summerfield doesn't because she's blind. And she's been reading. What is with the Goyer thought he was doing something with this Oz book and the whole idea of the Gnome King and Dracula being the Gnome King, but it's like everything in this movie, it's another idea that never comes to fruition.
It is a really lazy, forced literary illusion.
Yeah. It's just like, why not, man? This whole movie is just made up of like
Dracula abducts the little girl. It's another. You've got to have a Jeopardy. So
I have no idea why he does that. I also have no idea why they don't just kill Hannibal King.
But she looks at him and he's like, "Are you frightened of me?" And she goes, "You're the Gnome King." And he's like, "Gnome King, I dig where you're going."
I know he does. He literally does do it. Like, I like that.
Yeah, he's like, damn.
Did you know I was at Lewis Carroll?
Yeah.
I was at the death of L. Frank Baum.
Yeah.
I was there when they crucified him.
I'll tell you that right now.
Were you there when they crucified L. Frank Baum?
We don't want our scarecrows talking, Baum.
That's the devil's writing.
Yeah. No, yeah, none of this is. It's like I said, I have no idea why he takes this girl. I don't really fully understand why they take Hannibal King beyond, once again, the lame excuse of he can tell them about the super weapon that they've heard tell about.
And they were in their base. Why not just look through their shit at the base where the super weapon is?
I know, yeah. Or question him there. No, instead it's all about this weird Parker Posey relationship with Ryan Reynolds, right? About the whole idea that Hannibal King was, specifically when he was a vampire, I don't know if we touched on this, he was basically like her sex slave, kind of?
That's what the movie leads us to believe, yes.
He was her boy toy, her vampire
which is why his like familiar glyph is just above his dick.
Yeah, that's the writing excuse for
and
just wanting to show more of Ryan Reynolds.
There's that painful scene where it's Triple H and Parker Posey and other vampire people all kind of beating and torturing Hannibal King.
Yeah.
And it just and of course there's the vampire Pomeranian in there too. But it all becomes, and this is in the script, this is not Ryan Reynolds, who is a very good, clever improv, off the cuff,
and writer himself.
extemporaneous-
He
himself.
writes the Deadpool movies. He's great.
But you have all the stupid jokes about, and they just keep saying fuck and dick and fuck and all this stuff, and then and some very choice words that he has for her. But then she, and this has got to be Goyer dialogue, she goes, how about for just 5 minutes we don't say the word dick?
Yeah.
And Goyer's sitting there going, awesome.
Well,
because just nailed that.
You can
that
feel him
so
typing,
good.
going, they say dick a lot in this scene. Oh, I should have her acknowledge that.
I'll
Rather than going
acknowledge
back and rethinking through any of it, he just goes, no, I can turn it into a joke.
Yep.
If you lampshade a
Goyer.
scene, that makes everything okay.
Yeah.
That is a total lampshade.
What's his big? He does have a big. Oh man, I don't know. Whatever. Some kind of play on cunt that he uses that he thinks is. That felt like an improv.
I don't. Well, he did at one point have Hannibal King say that she's a vampire, but her vampire teeth are in her
vagina. Yeah,
vagina.
That's not what it was. Something juggling.
Well, that's the best part.
Oh, you're talking. You mean the most elaborate swear in the movie, which is cock juggling thunder cunt?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, also that was your band in high school, wasn't it?
But that's the thing.
No, my band in high school was Sperm Whale Arson. Thank you very much.
Gotcha.
It actually, they never played a show, but it was the theoretical band Gorgone.
Theoretical,
Sperm Whale Arson.
Mine was Wild Ugandan Pygmies on a Toasted Wheat Bun. Was my high school band name.
There you go. Oh, by the way, Natasha Lyonne smells Dracula. She can't see him.
Yeah.
But she smells him before he kills her. Great.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Sure.
Smells like Drakkar Noir. See,
and then,
Drakkar? See?
I don't understand why he just left the bodies of the other Night Stalkers around, but he specifically makes a point of hanging Natasha Lyonne up. And also, I don't know if this is what Goyer is going for, but her shirt is ripped, which definitely gives some uncomfortable rape imagery that I don't like.
But that's all tied in with the vampire sexual assault theme as well.
Yeah, but she's not bitten. If she had been bitten, that would be one thing. But she's just dead, and her shirt is ripped.
Well, every time Drac kills someone in this movie, they are showing that he is the savage jest. Like that poor lady in the goth store. Literally, he yanks off her necklace, and he's pretty violently physical with her.
Yeah.
And I was not comfortable with that.
No, I don't. Well, because it's to no end. He's not really making a point.
No, but it is you don't want to fuck with this guy. Look at him. He wears a red leather corset, man.
Oh man. So anyway, they have to get ready to go get Hannibal King and the little girl back and fuck up Dracula. And then involves a scene that I didn't understand where they show Jessica Biel practicing with her bow, and it's all about the how hard the bow is hitting, or how hard the arrow is hitting.
Yeah.
John, she's using it. What didn't you understand?
That's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
But that's not a thing where they go, oh, you've got to be able to penetrate Dracula's skin. You've got to be able to put this kind of some kind of thing like that. But they just linger on this, and then it never comes back that it matters the force in which the arrow is hitting. There should have been something, is what I'm saying. I don't know. This movie's a mess. So, and then they introduce, then they bring up and also we have this guy who's a weird foreign guy who's going to drive us around. He's now suddenly a character. What?
Oh God, that was the worst thing because it's so late in the movie, and that is another nitpick of mine. You don't introduce a character that's got a name and dialogue that late in the movie, just is
this
hi guys, now I'm here.
Calder is this guy. Christopher Heyerdahl, who's a character actor I've seen in a billion things. He's a good actor.
By the way, that's Goyer trying to be clever again. He names a character in his vampire movie, Calder.
Yeah.
Guess who played the vampire in Salem's Lot?
Right.
Reggie Calder.
Right.
Fuck you, Goyer. Fuck you 8 times.
This guy's a solid actor too. Not that you'd ever know.
I thought he's fine, but
and
again,
actually,
it's like,
he was.
Hey, I was Whistler's best friend.
Didn't you know? He was in. He played a vampire on Chapelwaite, the Adrian Brody Stephen King show, which is a good vampire thing.
I really enjoyed it. Which means I enjoyed his work. He
was like the main vampire, and he was like the main.
Oh, he was really good.
He's really good. He was also on Under the Banner of Heaven. He was on Peacemaker. Really solid.
This
character
guy's
actor.
great.
Because I recognized his face kind of, but here he's just like, yes, I'm also here, and he only exists to get them from point A to point B.
That's it.
But he's a named character with somewhat implying a backstory. All right.
And thankfully, Summerfield gave me the virus right before she died for reasons.
Oh, right.
I know.
Oh, that's right.
It's
yeah.
so great.
He goes, I have this and a video from her, so we get more of Natasha Lyonne going, I'm so close. I've almost done it. You just need to mix it with Dracula's blood, and then all the vampires will die due to this bioweapon.
Hey,
Cool.
If
John.
you're watching this, I'm already dead.
John, talking about this movie is making me angry. Can we wrap it up?
Well, we're right at the end here.
Yeah, this is terrible.
We're basically, as I wrote, most of my notes here are just lots of fighting and shooting. Oh God, Jessica Biel doing the Morpheus come hither martial arts move. Get that shit out of this movie, man. Are you kidding me? Come on. I mean,
that's not just that's Bruce Lee.
It is.
And when Morpheus did it, you're allowing that because the whole concept. But here, it is a get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah, are you kidding me? And also, just once again, like, don't have Jessica Biel do martial arts. She's the bow and arrow person. Not that you can't, but it's like all of a sudden they spotlight this, and it's like Jessica Biel doesn't know martial arts, and so there's lots of awkward cutting where they've clearly taught her this move, that move, cut to this move, that move.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the only other shots they have for this finale is wide shots of Wesley Snipes' stunt double having a sword fight with Dominic Purcell.
Oh God, that also is not well choreographed either. That's some boring sword fighting.
You do see it. You do see it here and there. You're like, him, not him. Him, not him.
Right.
And then meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, because everybody's got to have a fight with somebody here. Ryan Reynolds is fighting Triple H. And the way actually, that's probably the best vampire kill, is he puts the bullet in his mouth and smashes it in, so he burns up from the inside. Kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Once again, in theory.
It's good.
So yes, finally Blade is sword fighting Dracula. Jessica Biel gets the shot with the plague arrow, which they literally call it that.
Because that's what it is.
And he turns around and catches it, Dracula, in classic. Oh, and by the way, at this point, Dracula has become like a 7-foot-tall monster.
Yeah,
right.
Because it has
He's in full demon form.
This movie is doing everything I don't like in a comic book movie, including for no reason turning the main villain into like a creature at the end. I'm looking at you, Wonder Woman.
Snap.
And I love Wonder Woman, but it was just like unnecessary.
Also terrible CG.
Well, yeah, but just in terrible CG that I'm saying could have been avoided by just not involving that. It didn't have to have that happen. But so he catches it Loki style, which much cooler than that. And I thought it was gonna be, but I thought he was gonna do a thing like in the Avengers where either it blows up in his face, or what I actually thought would have been cool is he catches it. And he's like, haha, and then she's like, that wasn't the plague arrow.
Oh,
because she knew he would catch the first one, she gets him with the second one, or something like that. Or Blade has it. What if Blade had already had the plague arrow and the arrow was a fake out? It literally, if they had just done anything to be remotely clever, it would have been something.
But no, he just throws the arrow on the ground. Blade grabs the arrow, stabs it into Dracula.
Also, very dumb on Dracula's part to just drop it where Blade didn't get it and stab it into
yes.
But Dracula doesn't know about the plague arrow.
That's kind of the whole problem here, right? Like, once again, it's all just so ill-defined. Who knows what? So, yeah, he gets stabbed, and he starts bubbling up, and then he releases a breath of poison.
Sure.
And all the vampires start melting.
Oh, man.
Well, but the big worry, though, from Natasha Lyonne earlier going like, yeah, Blade, we just don't know, though. Maybe it might kill you.
It might take you out, too. I'm so sorry. It might be a sacrifice.
Which, you guys, I'm sure you read the original alternate ending was it was going to turn him human. It would have just killed the vampire in him.
Yeah.
I think that could have
if you wanted to end the series there, absolutely.
Sure.
I think that was probably a distinct, like, the fuck, now you're just literally tossing me aside.
You are literally saying you're done.
As opposed to this ending, which is like, just, it makes him real sleepy and then wakes him up later, and then maybe he starts making people into vampires?
Oh, God. I did not see this until right now. There was a Blade Abigail Whistler sex scene in the script.
No.
Oh, I don't know how in that had to be. I'm hoping that was a radically different script because there is nothing that would have made that make sense.
No, there's nothing within the story where.
Are you kidding me?
Literally, their teammates. If there's any kind of, I mean, it's
I
not even romance, but she and King, you know, they're partners.
I assume that would be in the Night Stalker spinoff franchise. They would have tension of a will they, won't they sort of thing.
Yeah.
I would imagine that would be the case. In the fake thing. I can't, because I do think something they could have played with, once again, if it had mattered more, she was Whistler's daughter, is if you had actually built like a sibling relationship between Blade and Abigail, having both essentially, well, as you're talking about, what if it had been like, my dad raised you and not me? That could have been a thing. Whatever.
That could have been something actually to hang a plot on.
Yeah.
But we didn't get any.
Also, they talk about, it is evident in the fact, Gorgone, you were talking about the featurettes on the thing, that Wesley Snipes did no promotion for this movie or interviews or anything.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
which is part of the reason the studio didn't pay him, because they assumed he had already broken his contract.
Yeah, that was their argument. I don't actually know how that resolved.
It didn't, as far as I can tell.
Okay. There you go. How about the fact that one of the television commercials for the film, an actual television commercial released by the studio, had to be removed because it identified Jessica Biel as Jessica Alba? Even the fucking studio doesn't know the difference between them.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh shit. That actually, but it aired for one day. It actually aired on TV before they pulled it. It actually got out and aired. That's how little we care about who this woman is. It doesn't matter. She's one of those Jessicas.
Again, I feel bad for her.
I definitely feel bad. I'm not a fan, but I do feel. I'm not saying they treated her well. Are you kidding me?
Wow. I don't know. She's a Jessica.
It's one of them.
On the commercial, it's like, and a Jessica.
I mean, I'm waiting for the thing where it's like, I don't know, one of the Chris's is in it. Somebody.
Yeah, they probably will at some point.
Also note, Hannibal King was originally written for and offered to Colin Farrell.
I could see it.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a less funny character, but I could see it.
Especially
actually, Colin Farrell can be pretty funny.
But sure, but I don't think of him as like an improv guy.
No, he would not be that quippy. Not a chance.
Yeah. But I understand that. Goyer said it was his original idea to make the female lead Rachel Van Helsing. But then, when the studio heard that Van Helsing was coming out, they asked him to change it.
Damn, do I hate that kind of stuff, because that's not even Goyer being lame.
Yeah.
That is a stupid studio.
People are gonna be confused. So just take the name Van Helsing out of it.
The way that studios always say people will be confused if it has never actually been something where they were right.
One of my big points is studios always think audiences are dumber than they really are.
Yep,
always.
Absolutely.
They just assume they're incredibly stupid.
Like if they had made my vampire werewolf movie, it would have been. Yeah,
we talked about that.
Wait a minute, Kate Beckinsale's not in this.
Yeah, there can only be one movie about vampire and werewolves, regardless
of
style,
only be one.
Tone, genre, whatever. All right, so the FBI, all the vampires melt. Great. Dracula tells Blade he'll always be a monster because you never get rid of that thirst. I don't know where that was the themes of the movie.
No, I know. It seems like it would be a perfect line if that had been, a thread. Instead, there was no thread. So you're sitting there going like, were you just thinking of cool lines and slapping them in that screenplay?
Yeah.
Probably.
And so the FBI comes in and they find Blade's body. But what's this? When they get it back to the morgue, it's not Blade's body. It was Dracula's body. Why? I don't know.
That's exactly the problem, is that you're sitting there going, ooh, and then you go, wait a minute. How would that work? He died, and why would he have...
No, that was Blade.
What?
Oh, maybe my ending is different than yours because I watched the unrated director's cut.
You did? I'm looking at that right now.
Oh, okay. So you saw the one with the eyes popping open, right?
In the ending that I watched, they get Blade back to the morgue, and right before they do the autopsy, Blade gets up, beats everybody up, and then it cuts to black right as Blade is standing over one of the MDs.
Yeah, that's the famous one where his eyes, he refused to open his eyes, so they digitally did his eyes popping open.
Yeah.
But the ending we saw is the Blade corpse transforms shapeshifts back into Dracula. And they're like, whoa.
It wasn't Blade. Dracula's dead, not Blade. And then Blade is out in the city. And Ryan Reynolds has his VO.
You can tell he does a VO. It's like the hunt continues or whatever the fuck.
It is basically him going like, Blade will always be out there, but the movie's about us now.
And it is, you can tell they put this in later because it is a terrible shot.
Yeah.
It's luckily very quick, but it is Blade on his motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, it's either CG or they just literally composited it in.
Yeah.
There's a shot of freeway traffic going that way, going this way.
Yeah.
And Blade's motorcycle's going right down the middle of a freeway.
And they do the city reflected in his sunglasses.
Yeah.
It starts on the road in front of him. Yeah.
Well, they digitally insert him into Madonna's Ray of Light.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
There you go. Man, and he continues his never-ending war as the hunt goes on, is what Ryan Reynolds says. Anyway, we're in China fighting a werewolf or some shit. And that's Blade Trinity, and we're still waiting for another Blade movie. That's how bad this thing was.
It can only be better.
I mean, that's sort of the thing. That's an interesting thing. When we had Ibrahim on, and he was saying, like, I'm actually really not that excited about an MCU Blade because they already made these 2 perfect Blade movies, and they can only do worse with sort of his... Ibrahim can be a little pessimistic sometimes.
He really is.
Yeah. But I'm also going like, yeah, but if you include the 3rd movie, then it can only go up, actually. So if anything, Blade can be far more redeemed, Ibrahim, would be my argument.
And besides, I know some people are really tired of the shared universe. And for me, no, all day long.
Yeah.
Do it well and have Blade in the same world where our little friend Peter Parker is swinging around. I'm all for that shit.
Yeah, man. Until I get my Spirits of Vengeance or Midnight Suns or whatever you want, get all the monster people together. I'm on board all day. Also, they've perfect casting. Mahershala Ali is going to rule in that part.
I mean, again, the strikes are necessary and they're still going on. But let's get that shit worked out because we're going to hit a dry patch where I'm going like, what? Come on.
Yeah, man, we're going to start getting the shakes. We're going to start getting the shakes without our regular Marvel fix. I mean, really, it's going to be
like,
trouble.
I guess I'll have to go back and restart the MCU from the beginning, as I've already done before.
Well, there's something that there may be something in the works that's going to do that. I'll just say that on this network. But Blade Trinity, I would say my review is avoid at all costs. Danger.
Yeah.
Can you put a skull and crossbones and say, do not ingest, dangerous to human consumption?
I agree with you. Literally, Ryan Reynolds coming into his own to some degree, but in a movie that's not supporting him is a good watch. There's a couple of good Blade moments. It is, as I said, perhaps one of the worst cinematic Draculas we've ever gotten.
It's a bad Dracula.
Which I'm not going to put on Dominic Purcell.
No, again. I don't think, because once again, I don't know what more you could have done with the part. It's not like he's checked out. He's literally playing what's written. It's all on Goyer in that case. Gorgone, as the person who came on to be the de facto defender, you didn't seem to have a lot of love for the movie. So what is your ultimate, summation of the movie?
I view this movie as, like I said at the beginning, a strange curiosity. It is an estuary of many different cultural factors, and I appreciate that it exists. Do I put it on all the time? No. Do I like dusting it off every once in a while and going like, oh yeah, this is at that weird, like, tipping point where the superhero genre really hadn't taken over. We have, like, threads here that will eventually lead to cooler and better things. And it's also the last gasp of, like, a previous generation's idea of what a Marvel movie would look like. And what they could even conceive a Marvel movie to be before we got into, like, the Raimi Spider-Mans of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are what's interesting about this one is those are starting to happen when this comes out.
Right.
So I think this is really interesting that this is happening, like, they're literally, like, passing each other. The sort of comic book movies, and we're just 4 years out from the beginning of the MCU proper. So
I view it as a curiosity. I don't think it's necessarily worth watching, but I appreciate that it exists.
He likes it. It's okay.
It's okay.
And there's a nostalgia factor. There's absolutely a nostalgia factor to, like, this was one of the only movies I owned on DVD that wasn't Godzilla, so I would watch it a bunch.
Yeah. Once again, it's tough for me to have a nostalgia effect because my memory is mostly just being really mad about this movie. But that, you know, that's neither here
Yeah,
nor
that
there.
takes me back to a period where I was very angry.
So next week on the show, an adaptation I'm sure that won't have any sort of debates for us. Brendan, it's finally time for us to properly bust out the bum, 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 bum.
Oh my God! What a missed opportunity!
It is the Phantom of the Opera, Joel Schumacher's adaptation of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. Boy, talk about having all the resources in the world, great source material, and this is one where you unlike this, where you don't blame Don Purcell, I am going to put a lot of this on Gerard Butler, and I guess less on him and more of the choice of him, because I think he's doing his best.
I know he's doing his best.
Yeah, and he's a good actor.
It's not his fault
he
was cast.
Wildly miscast. But we will have our good friend Elliot Lewis on with us, who I know has an opinion or two about that movie.
And I think we may do some singing.
Oh, there might just be some singing. I think there's already been some singing with Elliot in other Phantom movies that didn't even have songs. So
I know.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting. I haven't seen it since it came out. I'm a big fan of the musical on stage. The songs are great, and I remember just being like, once again, like you're talking about, definitely a reaction of like, ooh, you missed so many things right. One key
So many
problem.
things wrong. One key thing. It's absolutely wrong.
And I will try to focus on. We'll talk about that. It's a given, but like I will try to focus on. It is a beautiful looking movie. They clearly had all the money in the world for it. It's beautifully designed. It's just the Phantom's bad, and that's kind of a huge problem. So, Gorgone, thank you as always. Of course, you can hear Gorgone over on May the Panel Be With You, as well as Material Components here on the Punch Up Entertainment channel. And so check those out. And that's going to do it, though, for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
In leather pants!